We handle everything.
The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches.
This is Primetime Sports, WGNS Murfreesboro.
On FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro. FM 100.5 Smyrna.
Streaming worldwide on wgnssports.com and always at the game. The game.
It's where you've had breakfast with the coaches since 1992. It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner. We'll talk to the coaches about their most recent games and their upcoming opponents. Now from News Radio WGNS, it's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this Week 4 recap and looking ahead at Week 5 of high school football here in Rutherford County. It is just unbelievable to me that we're a few weeks away from fall break, and next week starts Week 5, and gosh, we've got region play in earnest coming up. So we've got a lot to talk about here this morning. Lots of games on the slate from this week, Week 4. A couple played on Thursday, the rest last night. And at least one of those Thursday games moved up for potential heavy rain and didn't get it either night. And we're hoping that if we get something today, maybe it'll be during the middle of the day so we can get the MTSU home football game in the books, and maybe the first time for a lot of fans to get out and see the Blue Raiders. Week 1 was kind of the pits. It was about a 2.5-hour lightning delay and made it such a such a late night. But we'll see how that all works out. They've got Western Kentucky this evening, and it'll be 6 o'clock kickoff, so 4:30 airtime here on WGNS. So be sure to tune in for that. But to the high school ranks, and last night, John Dinkins, myself, and Bill Hockenberry were at Rockvale as the Rockets welcomed Stewart's Creek in, and it was Stewart's Creek coming out the victor in that one, 27-7. It was 7-0 for the longest, and then 13-0. And Rockvale's score did not come until late. Pretty good second half for the Redhawks, and their quarterback threw for more than 200 yards, and running back had a great night as well for Stewart's Creek. So Stewart's Creek goes into their game at Cane Ridge to open up region play in really good shape. Has to be one of the contenders in their region for sure, you would think, along with Smyrna and Antioch. Going to be an interesting few weeks there in the region to see how things all hash out. The Oakland Patriots had no problems with Antioch, 41-14. I understand that they've been feeding those boys in Antioch, though. Had some pretty tall drinks of water in that lineup. But Oakland handled that 41-14 last night. It was Riverdale the winner over Germantown by a final score of 24-7. 24-7. And, I said it last night during the broadcast. Every time I see Riverdale and Germantown together, it just takes me back to 1994 all over again. But that was the first state championship for the Warriors back in 94. That's 30 years ago, isn't it? Boy. Anyway, Riverdale came out victorious last night, so that was good as well. Blackman Blaze, a winner over Summit, 35-0. Congrats to the Blaze on their big win. Coffee County down Siegel 21-0. It was Ravenwood 42, Smyrna 9. Eagleville gets the best of Collinwood 12-7. And I believe it was 6-0, then 7-6, then 12-7. How that went, if I remember correctly. MTCS, they were winners at Clarksville Academy, 27-7. And on Thursday night, it was DCA blanking PCA 35-0, and Page over Laverne 48-0. So next week, the games that are on tap, and our broadcast game will be from Blackman, Oakland at Blackman, as region play opens up. That again next Friday night. Riverdale travels to Rockvale. Smyrna is at Laverne, so it's the big Smyrna-Laverne game. Hendersonville is at Siegel. Hendersonville and Siegel, that is a non-region game, of course, for Siegel. They played their first last night with Coffee County, just how the schedule worked out. Stewart's Creek is at Cane Ridge. Eagleville will travel to Huntland. Boy, that's a trek. I'll have to talk to Floyd about that this morning. MTCS is at Webb, and it is PCA at Grundy County. So that is a look at the schedule that is coming up for you next week. First up, John's going to take you through the first 45 minutes or so of the Coaches Show with Riverdale, Smyrna, and Blackman conversation. Danny will have the middle leg with the Laverne at 9:45, Oakland at 10, Stewart's Creek at 10:15, Rockvale at 10:30. Then I'll wind things up with Siegel at 10:45, Eagleville at 11, and then MTCS Cougar Corner at 11:15. So hang in with us. It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner. We've got couple of dozen donuts out there from Donut Country to go through this morning. Some good sausage biscuits and coffee from McDonald's. And glad you're along with us. Grab your cup of coffee and stay tuned here as we jump into the coaches' conversation on this Saturday morning on the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner.
You've heard people say, you know your work by your name, but there's no better name for residential and business concrete work than Dan France Concrete. From basic slabs to decorative stamping, for your next concrete project, call Dan France Concrete, 615-642-5152.
This is Dan with Dan France Concrete, wishing all Rutherford County student athletes a great season. Study hard, play harder, and be safe.
Trust me, Dan is committed to the community and will offer you a great product. He'll stand behind his work and make sure you're satisfied with every aspect of the work. Dan France Concrete.
Here's a question. What do you want from your electric co-op?
An app for easy payment.
Solar energy solutions.
I just want to talk to a real person when I need help. Energy tips and low rates.
Done, 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 done.
I want to fly my car to the moon.
Houston, let's talk about electric vehicles. Energy Service Life. That's Middle Tennessee Electric. We're here to get done what matters most to you. Learn more at mte.com.
The Blue Raider fan source for officially licensed Middle Tennessee gear is Raider Tees. T-shirts, caps, sweats in all sizes, designs, colors, children's to plus sizes. Raider Tees has decals and license plates to show everyone your favorite team. Plus, check out their wide selection of Blue Raider art, jewelry, even golf tee markers. Show your Blue Raider pride with the largest selection of Blue Raider merchandise anywhere by shopping Raider Tees, 910 Ridgely Road, just before the bridge over Broad behind Chewy's.
Sir Pizza. Murfreesboro's favorite pizza is now hiring at all 3 local locations. That's right. We want you to join the Sir Pizza team. Stop in at our East Main, Veterans Parkway, or Memorial Boulevard locations and let us know how you'd like to join the Sir Pizza family. Also, we've made it even easier to order for carryout or delivery. Just head on over to sirpizzatn.com.
Sir Pizza, you made me love pizza again.
This is Primetime Sports, WGNS Murfreesboro, on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at wgnssports.com. The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro, on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at wgnssports.com.
And this portion of the Coaches Show brought to you by the law offices of John Day. They've helped thousands of people get the legal help they need when they've needed it the most. If you've been injured, call the law offices of John Day. John Dinkins are here with you this morning, and as always, we kick it off with Riverdale coach Will Kreisky. A big win last night and an impressive win. I think a lot of people were maybe picking Germantown in that game last night, Coach, but you proved them wrong.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think there was a few of them that went out and picked Germantown, but you guys say our kids came back, rebounded well, played really hard. I think the second half is, to this point, was the best football we played all year.
It was an interesting game because they got a touchdown, and then you got a field goal. It stayed that way for quite a while, and then we heard the first score pop in, and then another one. But I'm going to go back to the beginning because when you're behind and trying to get your mojo there in that first half, your defense played really, really well.
They did. Now, Germantown did a great job on the first kickoff, and we had miscommunication, and they were able to recover it. And they got the ball inside the 20 and was able to take 8 plays and score on the first series. But after that, our defense stepped up and played really well. They I don't know if they got past midfield but 4 times after that first series. So yeah, I was really proud of how they played and impressive, because Germantown's got some athletes.
Oh, they do, yeah.
I felt like our guys did a great job running the ball and being able to compete, and they made plays. Germantown made some really good plays, and I thought our guys did a good job going and playing the next play.
Will, it seems like that's been a consistent thing, though. Your defense, they may bend a little bit at times, but they've been probably the most consistent part of your football team this year.
Yeah, they have. They've been playing well all year, and I think guys like J.C. Haynes and JoJo Smith, who's been with us for 3 years and been part of it, and Aiden Edmonds, he's a new starter, but, he's been with us and just getting the feel of it and just doing what coaches asked to do, and, their hard work showing off.
One thing I think that's been impressive about your program the last few years is you may lose some people, but you've always got 2 or 3, those mainstays that stay, and they've been there and they've gone through the wars. Like the 3 you just mentioned, that's got to be a huge help just for the entire program, I would think.
Yeah, it's good to see kids that work hard and have success and do what they're supposed to do. So, we got to keep battling, keep getting better. They set a tone this week in the second half, and we got to keep meeting those expectations each week.
Talon with, I think, 2 touchdown passes last night. I know you were glad to see him. He feels maybe a little bit more comfortable in the role, being the head of the quarterback, the leader of the offense, and kind of showed in that second half.
Yeah, I think he's getting more comfortable. Dante started out the first series, played the first series, and moved the ball a little bit. Then we had to punt, and then Malachi came in and was able to drive the ball down the field and get us a field goal. And then the next series, he drove all the way down and then jumped. And when he jumped and got hit, he fumbled. But, he's consistently moving the ball, moving the chains when he's in at quarterback. So, yeah, he is getting more comfortable and feeling comfortable in that role.
Talk about Dante a little bit because he's young.
Yeah.
But he's to me, from what I can see, he's a totally different type player than Malachi. He's more of the speedster, the runner, and he's looked good at times too.
Yeah. Dante has a high ceiling. He's just young and he's getting better every week. It's been an adjustment, and being a 15-year-old sophomore, it's going to take time, and we all have to have patience with him. And again, as long as he keeps growing each week, he's going to be really special one day.
And it's good that you've been able to give him snaps, give him a little bit each game, and that kind of thing. It kind of warrants this, whatever the situation warrants, I guess, with the way you use them, isn't it?
Yeah, and they both handle it real well, and that's been good to see.
The DJ Taylor, another good night for him. He's kind of your go-to guy, and he's not disappointed.
No, he ran the ball really hard. He 2 of the kickoffs I kicked to him, he got it to midfield. So, anytime the ball's in his hands, he's special and he makes plays and he runs really hard. He doesn't go down on the first contact, and he's able to get to it, pound 2 or 3 more yards.
Germantown, you just a tough loss the week before, and you've got to prepare for Germantown. What'd you tell your guys? Because that's not an easy, by any stretch of the imagination, an easy opponent to follow after a loss.
No, that's what we told them. We told them, hey guys, we scheduled these first 4 games to get us ready because after this week, that's when region play, and I said, guys, the only way we know if we'll do any good in the region is how we compete with these guys. Those top 4 teams, the first 4 teams we played are, top teams in the mid-state and do really well. And that's been a good measurement, a good test for us to get us ready on this run that we're having to go in the region.
We're talking to Will Kreisky, the head coach of the Riverdale Warriors. We talk about region now. We've got, I'll tell you, when you talk about them, of course, you've got Oakland that we always mention. Blackman's much improved. Rockville's very dangerous. I can't think of any team that's not really. I know Siegel's been hit with some injuries, but every game is important, and you can't take any of them lightly.
No, they're all important, for Maryland and the region. And, you got to go number 1 to make the playoffs, and so you got to take care of your region games first. And so, we got to get ready and get back to work. I told them to enjoy it this weekend, and Sunday, let's get back to work. Just like they got over that loss last week, we got to move on from this because 2 years ago we went to Rockville, and Rockville got after us and, sent us home with a loss. And so, they, like you said, they got some special players and players that's committed to big-time ball. They got a kid committed to Georgia, and another one's getting offers from Florida, and one of their O-linemen, is committed to MTSU. So they got special players all over the field, and, we got to come ready to play next Friday.
And there's also that inner thing that going on. It's kind of a rivalry. It was a made-for rivalry. It really just started out that way because of the close proximity. So that adds a little bit to the pot as well.
Yeah, it is. It's a big rivalry. I mean, 6-7 miles from each other, and kids. A lot of the kids go to middle school, grow up together, elementary school together, and then they get split up at high school. So yeah, it makes it for a big rivalry.
Tell me what in the last night's game. What was the difference in that second half? I mean, it just seemed like everything kind of clicked.
Yeah, the kids. The kids came out. I mean, you could tell. You can read the kids, and at halftime you could tell they believed. And a few of our coaches said we're gonna be all right the second half. And defense went out, and Coach Rell told them, "Hey, you go out and stop them the first series at a half. Good things will happen." And that's what we did. We stopped them on the first series, and then they punted to us when we drove down and scored. And we made it 10-7, and again we kicked off to them and stopped them again, and then drove and scored. And when we made it 17-7, you can tell that they started breaking a little bit, and that was able to help us, and we were able to do it again and punch in another score.
It's a simple game, isn't it? If you can score, stop them, score. I always think coming out of halftime in a close game that initial drive or that initial defense is crucial. I mean, in almost every game you see that. If you can stop them and go down the field and score, it just changes the momentum so greatly.
Yeah, and it was huge. It was huge what we did coming out of half. But again, the guys just did like you said, just did their task, did their job, and what they were coached to do. And the offense did a great job in the second half, just maintaining and being able to move the ball. They were, the receivers were catching the balls. They're running the right routes. The quarterbacks were able to make the connection make the right reads, and we made some plays that we haven't made at all the first 3 weeks in the second half, and that's what I keep telling them, man. If they do the little things right, that they're coached to do, they can be a pretty good group, But now that we got to see, with the youth, how does this youthful team handle a big win like that? So we got to get them grounded and humbled and get ready to get back to work.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. You're looking for consistency now,
exactly.
Isn't it? I mean, they know in their mind that they can do it. They've just got to do it on a regular basis.
Yeah, and we got to be more consistent. That it is another key word that we've been throwing around is consistency. And I thought, the last 2 weeks we've been a lot better with our penalties. I thought the first 2 weeks it was just outrageous. All the penalties we're getting. In the last 2 weeks, we improved dramatically, and so we got to keep improving and being more consistent in all phases, and that means on the offensive side of the ball. And if we can be consistent on the offensive side of the ball, we'll be okay. I think our special teams keeps improving each week and getting better, and then defensively they keep working and getting better. And also the key of the game is staying healthy. So as long as everybody can stay healthy, but I feel like this year we got more depth than we've ever had since I've been there, and so it's good to see all the guys each week competing in practice, and that helps us get a lot better also.
Are penalties the most frustrating thing in football? I mean, because I think it just destroys momentum. It's any kind of offensive drive you're on. Even just like a false start, it's just so devastating and especially to younger kids.
Yeah, it is, and and it's little things, and they got to understand. Little things matter, and that's what happens when you get penalties thrown on you.
Now it all begins. I mean, it's go time, and you traveled there, and we talked about that a little bit. And Rockville, kind of a hard place to play if you're on the road. I know it's only a few miles down, but they bring some people.
Yeah, they do. The last time we were there was a really nice atmosphere, and they bring a lot of people, and their fans come out, their student bodies come out, and again, it's a good little atmosphere. It's neat, and like you said, they got a nice field. They got this year, so it'll be a good night for football and a good rivalry night.
And of course, it's not a hard road trip, but it's just different, where you set up. And any time it's on the road, it's a little different.
Yeah,
right?
it is anytime. And luckily, we've been there a few times, so we're kind of getting familiar with it and stuff. So, we got to make sure we got everything ready to go by next Friday.
Now, big win last week. This week now is to get them back to, focus and know that game's already done.
Exactly. At that point, this game really this week didn't mean anything, and now it's region play, and that's where, again, that's how you establish your playoffs.
Well, we're expecting a good crowd out there with Rockville. The region starts next week, and Coach, good luck to you, and great game last night.
Thank you.
That's Coach Will Kreisky, the head coach of the Riverdale Warriors. When we return, we're going to be talking some Smyrna football, but we want to tell you this portion of the show brought to you by Middle Tennessee Electric, serving our community by providing affordable, reliable, and safe electricity. Online at mte.com.
Rely on the experienced professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air.
Whether it's the blazing heat of summer or the bitter cold of winter, let the Rheem Pro professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Conditioning on West College Street keep your home or business comfortable year-round. We service all major brands and in most cases offer same-day service. Call us today at 615-890-1311. Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, your Rheem Pro partner heating and cooling contractor on West College Street, just under the Thompson Lane overpass.
Craig's Tax Service at 142 Heritage Park Drive offers complete tax preparation, financial, and bookkeeping services.
This is Brandon Craig with Craig's Tax Service. We're proud to support all Rutherford County athletes.
Craig's Tax Service reminds you that it makes sense to get help with your taxes. Call 890-2233 for an appointment.
We've been serving Rutherford County since 1988.
Craig's Tax Service, 890-2233.
We're just off Memorial Boulevard at 142 Heritage Park Drive.
Stickers, labels, we do a lot of direct mail, booklets, manuals, programs. My name is Jeff Carlton. I handle sales and marketing for Franklin's Print Works here at Murfreesboro. We are at 2227 South Park Drive. Franklin's Print Works has been in Murfreesboro for over 25 years. We are a full-service commercial printer. We offer everything from business cards to brochures, booklets to banners, everything in between. Our website is franklinsprinting.org.
Winners Trophies can help you with customized awards for any occasion. Owner Kelly Hockenberry continues to provide awards for sports teams, churches, recognition awards, and more. Call Winners Trophies at 904-6002. That's 904-6002 for the best in quality, service, and pricing. You can also email Kelly, winnerstrophy@comcast.net. That's winnerstrophy@comcast.net. Any award for any occasion. Winners Trophies, 904-6002.
We're at Rick's Barbecue on Warrior Drive, talking with Anne Marie Brents.
When people walk in and they're like, tell me what's good, I usually tell them the loaded baked potato, which is a fully loaded potato with the butter, sour cream, cheese, bacon, and chives, and then we put meat on top of it.
At Rick's, they use the largest potatoes you can find.
Every Tuesday, we run a special on the loaded potatoes. We call it Tater Tuesday, and we sell a lot of potatoes.
Barbecue, smoked chicken, ribs, they've got it all at Rick's Barbecue, 212 Warrior Drive, and online at ricksbbq.com.
Local business owners, you know how important it is to be here for your customers. I'm State Farm Agent Celeste Middleton, and I run a small business in Rutherford County too, and I'm here to help you protect your small business. Call me at 615-895-2700.
It's time to talk MTC. The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at wgnssports.com.
And this portion of the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner brought to you by First National Bank of Middle Tennessee. If you're looking for a hometown feel with your bank, turn to First National Bank of Middle Tennessee, offering full-service banking and mortgages services. John Dinkins back with you here, the second of three interviews this morning, and we have Mark Williams, the assistant coach at Smyrna. And, Coach, how are you this morning?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. I'm usually talking to Matt, and I hope everything's okay with him, and I hope he's not sick or anything. So.
Oh no, he's good. He's good this morning. He just called. I'm sorry you got the B team this morning.
Oh no, we're fine. We're fine. But I know you're related. But talking to you is kind of like talking to him. Actually, you sound very, very, very much alike. But anyway, let's get into some football talk. And last night, you knew this was going to be a tough game last night, and it turned out Ravenwood's pretty much everything you thought they were, I guess.
Yeah, Ravenwood's a good football team. Coach Hester does a great job there, and they played a really good football game. We thought, the first quarter and a half, we were hanging with them and doing well, but at the end of the night, we just couldn't hang with them.
They bring a lot of weapons, don't they? And they've got they're pretty deep as well.
Yeah, they are, and they do a good job running the football. That's important in high school football, and they do a really good job of that. And Offensively, we never could get going, never could get in the groove. And defense, had 3 takeaways last night. We thought we could do something with that, but never could turn it into points.
And really, defensively, you all have played pretty well. I mean, very consistent through the course of these early games. But the offense has sputtered a little bit at times.
Yeah, as defense has played lights out. They've done a really good job playing some young kids in there. Dalen Sanders, we've got some young sophomores that are contributing to that. Probably led by Jerry Martin, our junior D tackle. He does a really good job. And offensively, we just got some new faces out there this year, and taking time to learn some things to get going. So, hopefully we can get that going soon.
And it's really, when you're talking about playing games, taking on like one of the top-ranked teams in the state is no easy task for sure.
No, it's not. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, we play these teams for a reason. We look to get better and strive to get better as the year goes along. That's kind of been our MO for the last few years. We want to be good towards the end of the season. Playing teams like a Ravenwood or a Riverdale, East Nashville, teams like that helps us prepare for the end of the year.
Well,
that's just what we're going to do.
That philosophy, Mark, has really paid off for Matt and you guys because it seems like when you get to region play, you pick it up and you win in a row, several in a row, and it just that philosophy has seemed to pay off.
Well, and we're hoping we're excited to get in the region play. That starts for us next week. And that's when we've got to pick it up. We definitely got to get some things cleaned up and get better at doing some things. Some of them are before the ball snaps, some of them are after the ball snaps, but we've got to get better. But I definitely think playing good football teams will help us get better as the year goes along.
We're talking to Mark Williams, the assistant coach here at Smyrna High School, and let's talk about Laverne just a little bit, moving ahead just a tad for next week. They're a scary team. I mean, they to me they really are because they've got running, I think, the Veer now and doing some different things. They've got some athletes.
They do. You go to the Veer is a whole different animal. You have to prepare for it. You have to have option responsibilities, and it makes you work. It makes you work on something that you don't see a lot out of the teams you play throughout the year. And so it's something we're going to have to prepare for. They made some changes on defense as well. They're doing a 3-3 stack, which means they're going to present multiple fronts, bring multiple blitzers at different times. That's something we're going to have to handle. And on top of that, it's the Smyrna Laverne game, which is, they're going to give us their best shot. We're going to give them our best shot. So it's usually a good football game, good atmosphere, and, we've got to prepare well this week.
And they're coming off of a loss, and they didn't score. I know they're going to be fired up and ready to roll. Somewhat on when you're talking about Laverne, that rivalry thing, you guys have won many in a row, and I'm not going to get into that and that kind of thing. But how hard is that, or do you guys even think about it that much?
We look at it. Number one overall, it's a region ball game, which is important to us. And we just talked to our kids about, it's a region game, and that's something that helps us get to the playoffs, get in the playoffs. We talk about that. We talk about ourselves mostly, about how we've got to get better, how we've got to improve, how what we have to do to be the football team we want to become. And I'm not going to lie to you and tell you the kids don't know that there's a rivalry there. There is a rivalry there. It makes it a little more interesting, but at the end of the day, we've got to focus on us. We've got to focus on what we do, and we have to focus on getting a region win if we can.
I would assume there's going to be 2 hungry football teams looking for a win next week.
Oh yeah. A lot of region play opens up next week, and I think you'll see across the state, a lot more interesting games, and then a lot of pads popping and things to that matter. But we've got to focus on what we do. And we've definitely got enough for us to work on to get better.
We've been fortunate to see a couple of your games. It looks like offensively you're using a lot of guys at running back. I mean, you're just kind of throwing 3 or 4 out there a game and see who's clicking. Is that something that we're going to see the rest of the year, that just using a lot of people in the backfield?
Yeah, probably. You know, we when we came into the season, we knew we were probably going to be, you know, running back by committee. And we've got, you know, 2 or 3 guys that can carry the football and do what we need them to do to be successful. But, you know, a lot of these guys also play defense. So we're trying to find spots to rest them, trying to find times we can rest them.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's just an opportunity for us to get some fresher legs in there at times.
Well, we've been to Smyrna twice now, and one of the most beautiful stadiums, I guess you'd have to say, in the county. That new field house is great. I still haven't had an opportunity to get there, but I'm going to do that. But that makes a lot of pride for these kids, doesn't it, to see that kind of place and walk in and look at that and the field house, the turf, and it's got to make those kids feel proud to be part of Smyrna.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's, you know, we're very, very fortunate, and these kids, you know, I hope they understand how fortunate they are, because there's been a lot of good football teams that have come through the old field house, the old weight room, but what we've got now is, you know, it's second to none. It's really, really beautiful, and you know, it's just at times it's unbelievable, and they're still working on some things to finish it up. But yeah, we're very fortunate. Our kids are fortunate.
Hey, Coach, one thing I see at Smyrna every year is there's a new wrinkle. There's something improved, and I don't know if that's a conscious thing to do that, but it seems like, I know the press box has had some upgrades. I mean, and that's really the key to success. A lot of these things is continuing to upgrade each and every year.
Oh yeah. You know, and then it starts with our principal, Dr. Sutherland. She really believes in improving and looking ahead and finding different ways to improve our school. You know, we did a press box, you know, renovation this year, like you said. Did that. Obviously, the weight room, the dressing room, locker room area, we redid that. Had the turf installed a few years back. You know, and right now we're building another addition to our school as it grows. And so there's a lot going on, you know, at Smyrna High School, and I think that when it starts from our principal and it works its way down to, you know, the teachers, the coaches, and it's really a holistic approach there in terms of what we're doing there. You know, and it's a cool place to be at. And it's a neat thing. You know, we still have our traditions. We still have, you know, things that we believe in, and, you know, we never forget those and never go away from those. But, you know, it's always good to improve yourself and to look forward to the future.
Final question, Mark. Matt, I think I highly respect him, but your coaching staff hardly ever changes. I mean, you know, and Matt's one of the senior members. He'd probably get mad at me saying that, but the coaching staff never seems to change. There's a lot of loyalty there too, and I think keeping that coaching staff as together as you possibly can, that's got to really help the program overall too.
It does. You know, continuity helps a lot. You know, and when you build a program, and, you know, and culture is huge to us. You know, culture is huge to us. And when you have a culture that, you know, we believe in hard work, we believe in molding young men, we believe in, you know, doing our best every day, you know, that helps. And when you have coaches that have been there for a while together and they all understand the culture, believe in the culture, that can benefit you as a whole. So, yeah, it's good to have guys that's been on the staff for a while and, you know, understand each other and know what to expect from one another.
Well, big game next week, and it all starts for real now. And good luck at Laverne on Friday night. Mark, good talking to you.
Hey, guys, appreciate what you guys do, and you guys have a great day.
All right, that's Mark Williams, assistant coach at Smyrna. This portion of the show brought to you by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance, TOA, the largest and most comprehensive orthopedic surgery group in Middle Tennessee. Find out more at TOA.com. wgnssportsradio.com. When we come back, we're talking Blackman football with Matt Kreisky.
Each team knows which play will be the winning move. I'm good neighbor State Farm agent Dana Womack, and I'd love the opportunity to talk to you about combining your home and auto insurance. Call me at 615-900-0877 to make the winning move that can save you time and money.
Hey there, it's Brian. I wanted to share one of the reasons why I love First National Bank of Middle Tennessee. They really show up for their customers. I see it firsthand, and I know you'll see and feel the difference. I know I can count on real, personalized service. When I've got a question, I don't get passed off to a machine. I get a real person who's ready to help. They always show up for me, and I know they will for you too.
First National Bank of Middle Tennessee. We show up for you.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 401715.
Dr. Russell McKissick of Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance talks about the grassroots effort in our local schools to ensure proper care for players.
To make sure our teams are covered here locally, be there for our trainers. Yeah, it's a passion that we have to try to take care of our athletes here in town and be there just to keep everybody playing as healthy and as best they can.
From a community standpoint, one of the most important things you do at TOA, I'd guess.
I think it's definitely a way to pay back to our community, just to be there for them and watch some great sports too.
Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance. TOA. Live your best life.
How about a fix for your sweet tooth? Donut Country is open 24 hours a day to cure your cravings. They've been serving up the freshest donuts in Murfreesboro since 1978. There's just something different about donuts from Donut Country. Bo and Cindy Davis and their wonderful staff will greet you with a smile, and you'll see all donuts aren't created equal. Fresh donuts anytime you want them, 24/7 at Donut Country on Memorial down from Clark. And they're open each morning on Middle Tennessee Boulevard. Check out their Facebook page for specials and promotions. Nothing else compares to Donut Country. Open 24 hours.
Quick, convenient, efficient. 3 words that we all hope to experience when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to bring just that to an industry that's traditionally dictated to the customer when it's time to do business. Whether you're purchasing class pictures in a yearbook, class jewelry, a letter jacket, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience quick, convenient, and efficient. Find out more at jhacompany.com. JHA, your one source for an unparalleled scholastic experience.
This is a paid legal ad.
You've probably heard it a million times. If you're injured, call a lawyer. And you probably haven't because you don't know how much it will cost, how long it will take, or even if you have a case. At the law offices of John Day, we provide a free initial consultation because we understand that folks don't want to pay a lawyer only to find out they don't have a case. If you think we can help, we do so on a contingency basis, which means we only get paid if you do. Seriously injured? Call me, John Day.
The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at wgnssports.com.
This portion of the show brought to you by JHA Company, Josh Houston and Associates. Jewelry, letter, jackets, yearbooks, graduation products, and more. Online at jhacompany.com. You probably got a class ring, don't you, Dalton, from JHA? May have.
I lost my class ring the summer after my senior year of high school.
Well, okay.
Yeah, it lasted about 3 months.
Why doesn't that not surprise me? I don't know. Matt Kreisky is our guest here, talking Blackman football. And Coach, a big win last night, a needed win, a good one, and for once you probably were able to relax just a tad at the end of the game, if you do relax.
Yeah, I think somebody came to me last night. Todd, one of our character coaches, said that's the first time I've seen you smile on the sideline. So I guess it was good. You know, I told the kids at halftime, you know, since we've been here, we haven't really finished a game, just completely finished and put somebody away. So we challenged them at halftime to see if we could do that. They came out and finished like we wanted them to do. You know, we said all week if we play like we're capable of playing, it shouldn't have been the game. Coach Crosby and defensive staff challenged the defensive guys all week, and they said they did not want any points on the scoreboard. Offensively, we said if we take care of the football, did not have turnovers, did not give the ball away and give Summit, you know, great field positions that we would have a great opportunity to win last night.
Some standouts in the game last night. Ethan Carson, 2 touchdowns and a 2-point conversion. Austin Moore had a 25-yard fumble return for a touchdown. Good to see that, like defensively, something like that happen.
Yes, Austin's been a great kid. He's been with us the past 2 years. Moved in. He's done really well. He's stayed the course when things weren't going the right way, and to see him having a great year this year has been great on the defensive side. And I tell you, that young man, you watch him come downhill. He likes to hit people. So that's what he's there for. We got to tell him sometimes in practice. We got to tell him to relax a little bit. You don't want to hurt our own guys.
Yeah. And Brian, is it Odur? Is that how you say it?
Yep,
Okay.
Brian Odur,
So.
a sophomore. Marcus connected with him. Marcus, another sophomore, connected with him on a big pass play. Was able to get in the end zone. But seeing two young guys in a critical point in the game to make those type of plays is huge. And kind of looking for us for the future. You got two sophomores out there on Friday nights. The future's bright at Blackman.
And you're the kind of coach, I think you would love to have good running attack and mix it up a little bit where you don't have to be too dependent on one or the other. And you've got Cameron's a youngster, but he had a good night, 8 of 12 for 95 yards and a nice touchdown in the win last night. And he brings both quarterbacks. I know you like to use both of them, and both of them bring a little something to the table, don't they?
Yep. One thing, Marcus, it was 3rd and 8. I told him all week when we watched the film, if you don't like it, pull it and run. I said you're athletic enough to run the ball. And that 3rd and 8, he was able to pull the ball down. I think he ran it for about 12 yards, got the first down, kept the chains moving. I told him we just need you to manage the game and then not have turnovers. And if they're giving you a gift, throw the gift. We'll get what we can and move on. And don't force something that's not there. As a sophomore, I thought he had a great night. And moving forward, we plan on using both. Johnson's done a great job for us. It's just that I think we have two really good quarterbacks at the same level, and so competition always creates them to be better. They know that they got to come in each and every week and work. And so we want to create a competition battle where these guys are working hard each and every single day. So we'll make a decision next week of who's going to start the first drive against Oakland.
In that game last night, and your schedule has been tough. I mean, it's been tough. And how good does it feel, though, to see kind of the first, I think, really, even with the tough schedule you played, the first complete game that you guys have really played? Because I know that the game that I watched and the games that I've seen, there's been some quarters that haven't been good. And that looked like that may have, at least for last night, that was soft.
Yeah, the only thing I say negative about last night, I thought we started out a little slow, a little sluggish. It was 0-0 at the end of the first quarter. But once we got going, the first quarter went pretty fast. Both teams were just running the ball. So it went pretty fast. But once we created a turnover in defense, I think the guys just kind of took we're fine. And then they started playing normal. We as coaches, when we met last night, we can't do that next week. You cannot. We can't not sit on the heels and wait for something to happen to then attack our opponent. We've got to come out next Friday night firing on all cylinders if we expect to be in the game with Oakland.
I know and I'm not trying to go into the locker room, but I know you've had some talks with them at certain periods in games that have kind of shut it down a little bit to get them back into the game and the mode of playing football, and you can see it. I can almost see it when I'm watching the game. I know what he said to him, because you're trying to make them believe, and the only way to do that is success, and they're starting to see that, I would think.
Yes, and that's been the biggest part. I think we've got to win a game that we're not supposed to win, so these kids will really believe and truly buy in.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, and I keep telling them we're right there. We're really close. I could tell on Monday, I saw some kids come in. They had their heads down, a little negative, coming off a really tough loss to Ravenwood. And, I told the kids, we're going to be fine. It was just, we're preparing for week 4. It's still a long season. You never know what's going to happen. But if you give up now, it's going to be a really long season.
Yeah.
So.
And the game at Ravenwood, a play or two here or there, you win that game. And then that's the game you're looking for, isn't it? I mean, that's the game that would really make them believe.
Yes. It would. But, I like playing good teams like Brentwood and Ravenwood. They're both well coached, and those guys and those staff are going to find areas to expose you and what you need to work on to get better, to move forward in the season and get ready for region play. And I feel like Coach Finch and Coach Hester's teams have really done that for us and really helped us as a coaching staff really dig in and find our true identity of who we are and what we're going to be this year on both sides of the football.
We're talking to Matt Kreisky, the head coach of the Blackman Blaze. Big winners over Summit last night, 35-0. Now we switch gears a little bit, and of course region play starts. So there's no looking back now. This is the time. If you've got to pick it up, this is the time to start doing that.
It sure is. I told the kids, I said, enjoy it. Until about noon tomorrow. I said enjoy it, and then I said the film with Oakland will be shared, so start watching the film. I said, it's been a while since Blackman's beaten Oakland. I said you got a huge challenge ahead of you, and if you want to have a chance next Friday, we've got to start working on Saturday. So we're going to start meeting with our kids, talking to them, and getting our game plan ready for next week. I know Coach Creasy well. He's going to have a great game plan ahead. There's probably a lot of things that he's going to show on Friday night that we haven't seen in his first 4 games. So we've got to be prepared for everything. He does a really great job. Me and my brother probably wouldn't be in this position right now if we wasn't coached by Coach Creasy. So we think the world of him, and we know what type of coach he is. And so I've got to prepare our guys this week for anything and everything.
You're not saying he's old, though.
No, he's not old at all. I say one thing. Me and my brother used to cut his grass for him. He wouldn't give us any money at all. You need to give him a hard time when he gets on here.
I know you did say one thing, and I know that's why you're getting ready. And there's probably nobody more prepared than he is in a game. I mean, he comes across that he doesn't, but he's the most prepared guy I know.
He is. There's every little thing. He knows every little shift, everything that you do on both sides of the ball, and he's got to answer for it. And so you've got to be prepared for it. We've got to be prepared to make adjustments throughout the game as coaches if we want to give our kids a chance on Friday nights. So, talk about the kids, but a lot of this is on us coaches. We've got to, because he's like a mad scientist in there. He's studying the game film, and he knows everything, and he's got his call sheet ready for every answer that everything that we try to throw at him.
Yeah, he makes adjustments really well, and that's what you've got to do the same.
Yes, sir.
To do that. It's like a chess match, isn't it? A little bit.
It is. It is.
They don't, and you look at them, and on paper. There's not a lot of things to exploit. I mean, you have to really just play your game and not really worry about them as much. Is that right? Is that right to say? And just, I know they've got good special team play. You got to do that right. And then they've got, those explosive running backs. You got to try to contain them. They got more than one. So, is that kind of the game plan you're looking at?
Well, it's just, they're going to be physical. They're physical at the point of attack, defensively. Coach Watson and the defense staff, they do a great job, because you see those guys are flying around, and they're in the right spot. They're making plays, and Coach Creasy and those guys, ever since he's been there, he's brought that mentality. They're going to be physical. Even in his close games, you see those guys, they hunker down and they buckle their chin straps up, and they're going to come after you. The game when they went to Texas, you could tell, they're down. But those kids were still fighting, and they fought to the very end, and they pulled it out, because I think, physically they wore out that team, and they got after them for 4 quarters, and I don't think the team from Texas was ready for that.
I know just knowing you as briefly as I have, but I know one of the I guess attractiveness about getting into this region are the teams that you play, and they're tough, and they are. But I think you like the challenges of that.
I do, and it's fun coaching our kids. It's fun to see them grow and get better. From this whole process from January all the way until now. I tell the kids, we've had some things go on this past week that wasn't so great, and I tell the kids it's no different than what things you deal with in your family. Everything in your family outside of football is not perfect, and so everything in here is not perfect. How are we going to adjust? How are we going to overcome? Either we're going to take a step forwards and learn from what happened this past week, or we're going to take a step backwards. So I said that's no different in the game of life. Some of us on this team made a mistake this past week. And are we going to grow from it and become better young men, or are we going to go backwards? And so Friday night, after a tough week of practice, I think they accepted the challenge, and they got better. And I told them last night I was proud of them, how they what happened this week. They overcame it, and then how we're going to move forward from here on out.
Always a lesson to learn, isn't it?
It is.
Every week.
It is.
Going to be a great crowd there. I know Blackman will handle that well, and looking forward to a great game. We're going to be there, and so make plans to attend that if you can. So I don't know if there's any TV anywhere, but you can watch it on the Big G TV, can't you? Yeah.
Yep.
On YouTube. So, Coach, good luck, and we're glad you're here.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all.
All right. That's Matt Kreisky, the head coach of the Blackman Blaze. Coming up, I turn the reins over to Mr. Danny Brewer, the illustrious announcer on this program, and he'll be back here with you as we take a break. This portion of the show brought to you by Edward Jones Financial Advisor Lee Colvin, who will work with you to develop a complete, tailored strategy to help you achieve your financial goals. That's Edward Jones Financial Advisor Lee Colvin.
Hello, this is Coy Young at Las Casas Feed Supply. We'd like to welcome you to our door.
If you're a homeowner with a quarter acre or several, Las Casas Feed Supply focuses on premium feeds and dog foods you won't find in the box stores.
Nutrition is our specialty here at Las Casas Feed.
Family owned and operated by Coy and Jennifer Young, inviting you to stop by, visit, and enjoy the country.
Customer service expertise that exceeds your expectations.
Las Casas Feed is also your place for local milk from the MTSU Dairy on Barlow Lane, just off Highway 96 East in Las Casas.
If your job situation is changing because of layoffs or restructuring, you may have to make several decisions. One important decision may be what to do with your retirement plan. Make sure your retirement stays on track. I'm Lee Colvin, your Edward Jones Financial Advisor, and I'd like to help. Stop by our office in the Public Shopping Center on South Rutherford Boulevard or give us a call at 615-907-7056 for a face-to-face appointment. Edward Jones, Making Sense of Investing, member SIPC.
Rely on the experienced professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air.
If your old unit needs a tune-up, the professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air service all major brands and even offer same-day service in most cases. Keep your home or business comfortable year-round. Call us today at 615-890-1311. Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, your Ring Pro partner heating and cooling contractor on West College Street, just under the Thompson Lane overpass. Online at PrenticeAllsup.com.
Choosing the right insurance can be overwhelming. That's where Rick Hall at Rayburn Insurance comes in. At Rayburn, we're not just about policies, we're about people. Rick Hall will take the time to understand your needs and find the best coverage at the best price. We've been serving our community since 1973. So why not let Rick Hall take the stress out of insurance? Rick Hall at Rayburn Insurance Agency, where you're more than just a policy number. You're our neighbors.
Head over to J. Mullins Jewelry to check out their selection of rings, watches, custom design jewelry, and much more. They're a local business located at 352 West Northville Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro. They have gifts for all occasions, weddings, graduations, anniversaries, whatever you need, you can find it at J. Mullins Jewelry. That's at 352 West Northville Boulevard or online at mullinsjewelry.com.
Craig's Tax Service.
We perform tax preparation, individual tax returns, corporations, partnerships, and all your payroll bookkeeping needs.
Brett Craig with Craig's Tax Service.
Craig's Tax Service is located just off Memorial on Heritage Park Drive. You can contact us at 890-2233.
It makes sense to get help with your taxes. Call 890-2233 for an appointment.
We are proud to support all Rutherford County student athletes.
Craig's Tax Service, 890-2233.
The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at wgnssports.com.
The Coaches Show is brought to you by Las Casas Feed Supply, locally owned and operated by Coy and Jennifer Young, specializing in animal feeds, premium pet foods, farm supplies, and more. Speaking of farm supplies, I'm happier than a doggone hog in the slop this morning because I'm following John Dinkins. He called me illustrious. I don't know if I fit that bill or not, but speaking of illustrious, I'm joined now by Laverne head football coach Mike Woodward. Coach Woodward, how are you this morning?
I'm all right, Danny. How are you?
Oh, well, I'm quite well, Coach. Let's talk about Laverne football this morning. When we look at the schedule here, the first 3 football games all decided by one score. You're on the short end of it, but you have to find some encouragement in that because, I mean, you're right there, right, Coach?
Correct. Yeah, we were first 2 weeks in particular very encouraged because, we could easily see not only were they one-score games, but they were one score throughout. And, we saw a couple major mistakes or big plays that we just missed out on that were game changers. So, with the youth that we had and the inexperience, we were very excited after those first 2 weeks, even though we were 0-2 and thought we were on the right track and we're doing things well. Then, Wilson Central was a one-score game, but it wasn't as close as those other 2 were. I mean, it took us scoring late to get it to that one score. So, we felt like we took a little bit of a step back against Central. And then, Page, to be honest, is just a whole another different animal. I mean, they're number one for a reason. They've gone to the state championship game 3 years in a row. They've got 3 D1 dudes out there, and their defense hasn't given up a point all season long. So that was, just a completely different animal from what we had seen the first 3 weeks.
Coach, when you talk about that incredible statistic of being unscored upon, that's like old school stuff because, I'm kind of a sports history buff, and I remember, like way back, like when in Tennessee's glory days and things like that, teams would go for a season of being unscored upon. But in today's society, that's just about unheard of, isn't it? Yeah, it is. I mean, the game has been tilted so much to the offensive side of the ball. It's rare to see, a shutout, let alone 4 straight shutouts. And, I'm with you as far as old school. I mean, I'm a Steelers fan, so I can talk to you about, defense all day long. But, they are, they're just so good. And what really makes them good is that, it's nothing tricky. I mean, what they're going to line up in, and they lined up exactly how we thought they would to any formation we gave them. It's just that, that they've got 11 guys that fly around, and, the Wisconsin and Louisville and Wake Forest commits, those 3 guys get a lot of the attention, and, I mean, it's well-deserved, but all 11 of those guys fly to the football, are good physical guys. They beat blocks. They don't miss tackles. That they're just really, really good on that side of the ball. When we talk about, you mentioned Steelers. Now, I'm not a Steelers fan, but the old Steel Curtain days, of course, I'm an old guy. I'm older than you are, Coach, I'm sure. But the old Steel Curtain days, man, that was like glory football, wasn't it? When you think about what that group of football players did defensively, just dominant. Oh, yeah. They were dominant. There's, I think, 7 Hall of Famers off that group, so – yeah, they were, and even more recently, the 05 group was really like that too. So, I'm not comparing Page to them, but when you talk, like I said, you talk about dominance and and just how hard it is to try to find a weak point to attack. I mean, that's what you're talking about with them. And now we were able to do some things and have a little success here or there and move the ball a little bit. But as far as anything, consistently, we just weren't able to get that going. Does playing a team like that help you? Because get into region play this coming week, which we'll talk a little bit more about that here in a moment. But do you think does that help you guys? Obviously, I'm a guy that believes the better teams you play, the better it makes you. I mean, I've got to believe it. I mean, that's one reason we schedule. I want our guys to see what elite football is. I mean, and they're elite. And now we've gone against, what we told them all week. And I mean, no disrespect to anybody else, but, very well may be the best defense we see all year long. So, now we've seen it. We know how important it is on our end to take all the correct steps, to fight your tail off and not think just because you're engaged that dude's just going to sit there and allow himself to be blocked. But you've got to continue to move your feet. You got to continue to fight your tail off until you hear the whistle. Just all those things, and hopefully that gets our minds a little more right. Not that we should need any help this week with who we've got, but hopefully get our minds a little more right coming into Monday. running the football, I know that, I applaud you for your decision and, your offensive changes and your offensive game plan also. How's that worked out for you, you think, as far as the kids embracing the type of offense that you're trying to run right now?
Again, early on, I would say it was great. I mean, and we saw the big improvement from week 1 to week 2. Right now, to be honest, I mean, there's some frustration. So we need to, look at the film and, we will tweak things. And there are a couple things that we've been trying to do the last couple of weeks that, to be honest, haven't been successful that, I'm probably going to cut out because we're spending too much time trying to work on things that aren't working. So we need to spend more time on the things that are and then make some additions from there.
Well, Coach, I think that's really the key to any football team is being able to adapt. And like you said, you're figuring out what you can and can't do.
Yeah, I mean, it's everything always looks good on the board. I don't care what scheme you're running, what side of the ball it is. You can give anybody a dry erase marker and get up on the board and say, hey, this is going to work, this is going to work, this is going to work. But then you get out on the field and and it's really about what your guys are comfortable with and what they understand and just, putting their skill sets to best use. So, like I said, we've tried a couple things. We've tried a couple of additions to the system this last couple of weeks that, haven't worked as well as what we thought they would, according to the board. So, we'll scratch those instead of just beating our head into the wall. We'll scratch those and spend more time getting better at the things we've shown we can do. And like I said, we'll add a couple things also, as you try to do every week. You always try to add something that the opponent hasn't seen. So we'll be working on that also.
Well, Coach, that's what makes you a great football mind is because you understand the difference between concept and reality. Let's talk about running to the football on defense. How do you like what you're doing on defensively right now?
Well, again, I loved it before last night. Before Thursday night. I'm going to try not to read too much into Thursday, but I really thought, we had made great strides from week 2 to week 3 on the defensive side of the ball. And, so hopefully we will get back, to where we were on that Wilson Central game also, because I thought we really, really played well on that side of the ball. We were physical. We were running. We didn't give up any big plays that night. We were a good tackling team. And, hopefully we will get better to that, get back to that this week.
Talk a little bit about the work mentality that you want to see from your team as you get ready for district play, because we know we got Smyrna coming into town this week.
Yeah, we got Smyrna, we got region. I don't want to call it the preseason, but all these non-region games are pretty much over for us now. Now it's region, and we know that dictates your postseason, and if you get a chance to play an 11th game, and that's what we want to do. So, it starts this week, and we've always tried to stress this year with our guys, a blue-collar mentality. We're not flashy. We don't have a bunch of 3, 4, 5-star guys to go out and just, do all these highlight reel type plays. We need to be, the type that has a chip on its shoulder and just says, we're going to go outwork the people we're playing, and we're going to make it a rough, tumble, physical football game, and then find a way to close that out at the end. So that's what we'll, keep preaching to our guys and, try to get back to where we were. Like I told them Friday night when I talked with the seniors, get back to where we were a couple of weeks ago, where you could really see and feel that we were, very, very close to, to getting the W's that we wanted coming into the season.
When you talk about your seniors and your leadership, that's an important part of any football team. How about your leadership that you got? And like I said, especially when you come into a game like against Smyrna, who's arguably your biggest rival.
The leadership part is huge, and what I love about this senior group is, truly the selflessness, walking into the locker room. I mean, there's not the cliques. You don't see the seniors just sitting by themselves and treating sophomores like they're sophomores. You see a lot of interaction between the different, between the different classes, which I think is great. They set good examples in terms of, what you see from them in the weight room or on the practice field. And, I couldn't be happy enough with what I'm getting from those guys there. Now, I just want them to experience success and be able to get some wins.
Well, Coach, I know everybody in North Rutherford County is looking forward to Friday night. It's always a big night when Smyrna and Laverne get together. So hopefully we're going to have a great crowd down there, because I think it's going to be special.
I think so too. It's, the schools are separated by 4 or 5 miles. Everybody, I mean, I guess nowadays everybody knows everybody anyway, but, these guys truly, grow up together. We know about the one-sidedness, but we also know that we've had opportunities in the last couple of years and have come out, well, I shouldn't say that, but, recently we've had opportunities and haven't been able to close out games. So, we're going to go, try to change that on Friday.
I encourage everyone in North Rutherford County, if you want to go see some great high school football action, get on down there to the Wolverine Den. Coach Mike Woodward, we appreciate your time, and we certainly wish you the best of luck.
All right. Thank you, Danny. Appreciate it.
The Coaches Show is brought to you by Little Caesars Pizza with 4 Murfreesboro locations: Memorial Boulevard, Warrior Drive, South Rutherford Boulevard, and Old Fort Parkway. Get hot and ready pizza from Little Caesars.
It's football time in Tennessee. Of course, that means tailgating and travel. Don't fumble due to a poorly maintained vehicle. At Dr. Automotive, we're here to help you score, whether it be a length of the field drive or a quick pick six. We'll help you tackle brake repair, heating issues, battery needs, and maintenance as you march downfield. We're on your team and here to make sure that you're ready for the big game. At Dr. Automotive, the cure for your car. Go deep.
Here's your Little Caesar slices and sticks, half Italian cheese sticks, half pepperoni pizza. It's the world's greatest combination. Carl? How could you?
Sorry, PB&J. I wanted to try new things.
No.
Have some for yourself.
Yes. No!
Get hot and ready slices and sticks for $6.99. Walk in and walk out between 4 and 8 p.m.
Little Caesars Pizza is a proud supporter of all Rutherford County high school athletes. Be sure to visit your Murfreesboro Little Caesars today.
Pizza.
Parks Auction. We handle everything.
You have a staff that comes to your home. They tell you what to do. They walk you through it. It's been my experience that what I thought I should get for my home, I got much more for it.
Visit our website at parksauction.com.
Hi there,
Parks Auction, 896-4600. Stan Vaught and the Parks Auction team are proud supporters of local high school and MTSU sports.
If you need concrete work done, who would I call? Dan Franz Concrete. Here's why. He's local. He attended Walter Hill Elementary, Oakland, and MTSU. He served our community as a school resource officer for 9 years, and he's involved in the community.
This is Dan with Dan France Concrete, wishing all Rutherford County student athletes a great season. Study hard, play harder, and be safe.
Dan France Concrete is a licensed and insured residential and commercial concrete construction contractor serving Middle Tennessee. Check out danfranceconcrete.com online to see some of their work.
This is Primetime Sports, WGNS Murfreesboro, on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at wgnssports.com. The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro, on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at wgnssports.com.
The Coaches Show is brought to you by Rick Hall with Rayburn Insurance Agency in Smyrna. Give Rick a call for auto, home, business, and life insurance needs. Find out more online at rayburn.net. Danny Brewer here. I am extremely happy to be sitting across from Oakland head football coach Kevin Creasy, mastermind of the high school football world. Coach Creasy, how are you this morning?
I'm doing pretty good.
Well, good. Well, let's talk a little bit about a Friday the 13th encounter that you had last night. Scary opponent in Antioch. I mean, because they're kind of scary when you look at what they have and the weapons that they have and stuff, right?
Oh, yeah. You know, we jumped out to a 20-point lead and then turned right back around in the fourth quarter and we're only up 20 points, you know. So what if we didn't have that good start? I thought I'd give a lot of credit to our players. They did really good coming out early and getting a good start. You know, we talked about how we kind of came out flat last week and didn't exactly take advantage of some opportunities that we had. And so our guys did. They came out really fast and made some plays, you know, special teams wise again, had another punt return for a touchdown. Defense, Chase Bandy had a one-handed catch on an interception. And, you know, offense, you know, kind of matriculated the ball down the field a little bit. So all three phases early were really good. And I think we kind of, you know, second half just kind of ate clock a little bit, try to get out of there healthy. And give Antioch credit. They kept fighting to the very end and, tried to make a run right there at the end. And I think they're going to be a good quality playoff team, and they're going to make a lot of noise in their region.
I think you're absolutely right about that, Coach. Capitalizing on mistakes. That was absolutely the key to the early good, getting out of the gates early.
Yeah, I thought we did a good job of causing turnovers, and then, like I said, we recovered a fumble, had an interception, returned pretty far down the field, and then, took a shot play with Kyler throwing a touchdown pass right after that, and so yeah, it was really fast. Antioch's a good team, but they're still young and learning how to win, and so I thought it was big for us to kind of take advantage of things early and get up on them early, and like I said, give those guys credit. They got a heck of a quarterback, and I think their coaches are doing a good job, and they just fought for 4 quarters, so give them credit for that.
Let's talk about a Jason moment for your defense, since it's Friday the 13th, that you had. You're up, they're threatening, like I said, because even though you had the 20-point lead, the game was still in question, and they had it deep in your own territory. 4th down, y'all blitzed, and you stopped them on 4th down and made them turn it over on downs, and I think you guys come down and score. But anyway, that moment, talk about the defense and the stand that they made right there on that 4th down with that blitz.
Yeah, we've been playing coverage, and, they've been running the ball. I had a couple good runs, and then of course their quarterback scrambling. I thought that was the best play they had. He made some great plays and got out of some dangerous situations. I thought we had him hemmed up a couple times, and he made some really good plays. And our defense is really fast, and so for him to get out of some of those situations, you got to give him a lot of credit. And just a sophomore, so he's going to be really good for years to come. But 4th down, we decided we're going to stop the run. And they decided they were going to run it, so it was kind of 2 people imposing their will. And like I said, Coach Watson sent a really good blitz with Caleb Ellison. And, he goes up the middle and makes a, 4th down stop. And, that was pretty much Katie barred the door. After that, the game was over.
Pretty much so. You're absolutely right. The defense, because they did stand up, because that kid, like I said, the quarterback, extremely dangerous. But talk about how proud you are of your defense, of how you were able to contain him. Even though he did make some big plays, still you pretty much contained him.
Yeah, we took away some things that he liked to do and, made him at least uncomfortable, and I think that's a big part of today's defense is, there's going to be opportunities for people to score, just the way it's kind of slanted toward offense. And, penalties cost us on 2 or 3 different occasions where we thought we had them stopped. So those things are fixable, but, you still got to be able to tackle in space. You still got to be able to, defend the pass. You still got to be able to rush the quarterback. And like I said, for the most part, we made him feel uncomfortable and, made him do some things that, the first 3 games he didn't really have to do.
Let's talk a little bit about the stable of running backs you have, Coach. We like thoroughbreds. Talk about that stable of running backs. You had a lot of kids contribute last night on the ground.
Yeah, T.T. Hill's still doing a heck of a job for us. I think he had more carries than anyone else. And, he's also our Wildcat quarterback. And, a name people hadn't heard a lot of, Chase Bandy. He plays every snap of defense for us, but he's also a quarterback for us, can go in and came in. I think Kyler got bummed up there for a couple plays, and he came in and did a heck of a job. Can throw it, can run it. And he had over 100 yards rushing on like 5 attempts. So.
Yeah, 5 carries, 107 yards. That's like 20 yards a carry, I think, Coach?
Yeah, maybe I need to give him the ball more. So, look for Chase to get the ball a little bit more. And then, like I said, we've got Bama, Kimonte Bass. He had a breakout game last week, and he's still good and steady this week. And Matthew Moore had a touchdown late in the game. So, yeah, we've got several guys that can carry the load. And, when they don't have the ball, they're out there blocking for each other. Avery Hainsworth had a good night blocking. He had only a couple carries, but, averaged like 10 yards a carry. So, again, maybe I need to get that guy the ball more. at the end of the day, those dudes were doing a heck of a job for each other, blocking for each other unselfishly, and then of course the offensive line was doing a good job too.
And we didn't even mention Craig Tutt.
Yeah, Craig Tutt. I think in that Anna Texas game, he probably had like 20-something carries. He only had about 5 touches last night, but out of those 5, I think he scored twice. So Craig's just a phenomenal player, just a junior. So I think he's actually going to Tennessee, visiting Tennessee today. So that just tells you what kind of player he is. And then, of course, on the defensive side of the ball, he's, making a bunch of tackles, passing, breaking up passes, and, doing a lot of good things on special teams. So he's just all-around good player, too.
Coach, running the football has always been key for Oakland, but how about passing? You threw the ball 14 times last night. Kyler Creasy looked good, completed 9 of them, had that one big touchdown throw. The importance of the pass to keep everybody honest.
Yeah, I thought the first series we went right down the field and scored on them, and then the next thing you know, they're loading the box with, 11 people, and so they kind of make you have to throw it whenever they get that 10th or 11th guy in the box. So, give our offensive line credit again. Our guys aren't just run blockers. They did a good job of protecting the quarterback, giving him time, and he was able to, throw the touchdown pass. He had a couple 4th down conversions. I thought he had a really good 4th down and like 9 conversion where he threw a ball out on their sideline. So, he's efficient in the pass game. I think, his touchdown to interception ratio, I think he's thrown 7 touchdowns in 4 games and 0 interceptions. So, that second number is a little bit more important than that first number.
Yeah, absolutely right. So, let's talk about that, because on the opening drive, it's 4th down and 4th and 9, and you guys go for it. I mean, talk about that. That confidence is something that you think is important to let your team know that, hey, look, I believe in you guys?
Yeah, we were upset, the play before. We never hesitated as far as going for it. Like I said, we wanted something good to happen early, and so we were going to go for it, 4th down or whatever. And, again, Chase Bandy's the receiver. Like I said, he played about 5 different positions last night. So Chase Bandy's the receiver and makes the catch and, keeps his foot in bounds and does a good job of getting the first down. And like I said, that, I know that was an important game for Antioch. You could tell they were fired up and ready to play. And, like I said, kept their starters in all 4 quarters and all that stuff. So they were really fired up. But at the same time, it was important to our players too, undefeated team coming in, to give them their first loss, knowing they're a quality opponent, knowing that they're a playoff team, have a great chance of possibly winning their region. So it was a good battle of 3-0 teams.
When we talk about the depth and the stable running backs, all that stuff, but having multiple players contribute is important because of injury, because that's something you've had to deal with already this year is injuries. So talk about dealing with injuries and always being able to plug somebody else in.
Yeah, next man up mentality, that's not just a saying. So we feel like we've given our guys a lot of experience. We had a heck of a JV game Monday night. So it showed us some guys that's, ready to step up in varsity play. That's where Matthew Moore came in. He scored a couple touchdowns Monday night. And so when it was 4th quarter, we felt confident giving him the ball, and he scored, Friday night. So at the end of the day, a lot of times guys get a lot of experience playing time with us, and, it builds trust. And, that's what a lot of these non-region games are for. It shows you who can play, and a lot of times it shows you who can't play. Oakland
at Blackman this Friday. How about it, Coach?
Oh, yeah. This is, why you come to this region to play ball. Blackman and Oakland, for, I don't know, probably 10 out of the last 15 years has been the real big rivalry in the county, 10 out of the last 15. And, Coach Kreisky, Matt over there, has done a really good job with those guys. You can tell they're well coached. You can tell they play hard. That's 2 of the best compliments you can give somebody is when you flip on the film and you see Blackman's coached really well and they play really hard. And, I remember they were, a hard team to deal with last year. And most of them were just juniors, and now they're seniors, and you can tell they're, wanting to go out with a bang with good senior gear. And they've got some really talented seniors and, really talented team, to tell you the truth. But those seniors have been together since middle school, and they've been developed by Coach Kreisky, and you can tell they've bought into what he's selling, and he's really doing a good job. And lost a real close one to Ravenwood. If that don't get your attention, I don't know what does. But they had a couple opportunities to beat Ravenwood, and if they played them again, they might just beat them. But Coach Kreisky does a heck of a job, and I think it'll be a hard road game for us. And that's why we played this tough schedule, to get ready for hard road games for our region opponents.
Coach, we're going to finish with this. We know that you are a football mastermind. We know you're a thoroughbred mastermind as well. So what we want to talk about here for a minute is a race that's named for you, I think, the Thoroughbred Society Stakes, because you're part of the Thoroughbred Society, being the thoroughbred that you are. So give me something on that. It's 6 furlongs on the dirt for older males. Give me somebody right there, Coach.
I don't see how you can't go with Disco Ball. I mean, what a name, Disco Ball. That's got to be the winner. And a real close second coming in is Close the Game Sugar.
Close the Game Sugar. That's my horse there, is Close the Game Sugar, because that's what you're all about. And the Disco Ball, I'm sure back in the day, if we could rewind the clock.
Rewind it. Yep,
there you go.
Yep,
all right.
The Disco Ball is a big part of my life. And then, of course, got to be able to close the game out.
That's right.
That's got to be big this Friday.
Kevin Creasy, mastermind at Oakland. Get over there to Blackman and see a great football game this Friday night. Huge region game. Appreciate your time, Coach. Wish you the best of luck. The Coaches Show is brought to you by Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, family owned and operated since 1977. Get the best service with Prentice Allsup Heating and Air online at PrenticeAllsup.com.
Here's a question. What do you want from your electric co-op?
Fast response if the power goes out.
An app that keeps me informed. Tips to lower my monthly bill.
Communication on things that matter to me.
Done, 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 done.
I want to know everything.
Everything? Well, young lady, let me show you the MyMTE app. Energy Service Life. That's Middle Tennessee Electric. We're here to get done what matters most to you. Learn more at mte.com.
Whether you're a student, alumni, or just a fan, Raider Tees has exactly what you need to help you cheer on the Blue Raiders on game days and every moment in between. We sell officially licensed Blue Raider gear, whether it's clothing, hats, flags, chairs, or just whatever. We have it all, including exclusive gear you won't find anywhere else. Like us on Facebook for updates on new Blue Raider gear and special prices or discounts. For all your Blue Raider gear, shop Raider Tees today. Bigger, better, and go blue!
Sir Pizza.
You can now order Murfreesboro's favorite pizza online at sirpizzatn.com. We've made ordering online a breeze. From sirpizzatn.com, tap on the location nearest you and begin your order for carryout or delivery. You can order the Royal Feast, create your own, spaghetti, calzones, everything right from our online portal at sirpizzatn.com.
Sir Pizza, you made me love pizza again.
The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at wgnssports.com.
The Coaches Show is brought to you by Parks Auction Company. Let their team of experienced and professionally trained staff utilize the auction process to sell your property. Find out more at parksauction.com. Danny Brewer, so happy to be here and joined by Stewart's Creek head football coach Ben Caudill. Coach Caudill, how are you?
Doing well, Danny. How are you?
Fantastic, sir. Fantastic. We just got to keep it all in perspective, right? We got a wonderful September day. We didn't get all that rain. Stewart's Creek won last night. Come on, it's great, right?
Yeah, no doubt. And my oldest son celebrating his 7th birthday today. So I want to start it off with a special happy birthday to my son, George.
Oh, George, happy birthday, Big George. Curious George, I bet he is, right?
Yes, sir.
At 7, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about last night's game. Friday the 13th it was. And how about a scary good performance by a kid named Jerry Taylor? 10 out of 14, I think, with 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, Jerry had a great night, really threw the ball well. Just did a tremendous job of, getting our offense into a rhythm on the road, which is something that we said we wanted to do. Second road game, our first road game against Blackman, we did not play well for 4 quarters, played well for about 3.5 quarters, and that was our message at halftime. We left 2 scores on the board inside the 10-yard line twice in the first half, and had 1 touchdown overturned, so very disappointing to leave what we felt like was 14 points on the board, but we came out and did exactly what we wanted to do, not just offensively, but on defense as well in the second half.
So let's talk about that second half and a scary good 20-point third quarter. You kind of blew it open there.
Yeah, it was a big third quarter for us, executing, starting with our defense. Other than, one big long drive, that we had several backups in on defense, I'd have to go back and check. I think that was the only drive they crossed the 50-yard line on. And our defense, just put us in great situations all night. We really controlled field position, and that's, I feel like where our offensive success was able to start. In third quarter, we were able to, execute on some things that we'd been working on this week. And so really proud of not just the offensive, effort there in the third quarter, but, really the situations that our defense put us in as well.
Well, when you hold a team to Rockville to 7 points, I mean, that kind of speaks for itself, right?
Man, I tell you, Rockville is super talented. That senior class has 4 guys that are going to play Division I football. There's only about 20, 25 guys in the nation that are going to Georgia, and one of them goes to Rockville. And I thought we did a tremendous job, blanketing him last night when he was on offense. I thought we also put him in conflict on defense. Really proud of the effort of both sides of the ball to try and minimize his impact in the game. Number 1's been offered by Florida. Cavante Porter, how many players in Middle Tennessee get offered by Florida, out of state? So it speaks to the talent that those 2 young men have. They got 2 Division I linemen. Bo Bryan's going to MTSU, and I think 55 for them sounds like he might end up at TSU or UT Martin. I think he's got the best feet of any lineman I've seen on film all year. And so, needless to say, our defensive effort and the job they did last night was huge against a really, really talented Rockville team. I think their quarterback is super dynamic. Thought we did a tremendous job against him as well, and so very proud of the effort in all phases of the game to execute against a very, very talented Rockville football team.
So, Coach, let's dig into that defense a little bit. Starts up front. Talk about your line play last night.
Very, very excited about those guys. We had one guy, Bryson Hayes. He has started. He's a senior for us. He started every single game since his first sophomore scrimmage. Woke up Friday and had some health issues and wasn't able to play. And so very proud of just kind of the next man up mentality that we had up front. Very proud of Jonathan Waller, Julian Albright, our nose. Julian had to miss 2 practices this week to say his final goodbyes to his grandfather. And so just playing with a full heart last night. I was so proud of him. Jonathan Waller, Keelan Harris, Grady Harvey, Daniel Johnson at outside linebacker. I thought he did a tremendous job, had his best game this season. And then I want to give a shout-out to Cannell St. Soir. He was a captain for us last night at corner. Wasn't able to play against Blackman, but he was following number 2, Jalen Morgan, around last night and did a phenomenal job. So couldn't be any more excited about the effort from our defensive players and staff last night.
Talk about how you run to the football real good. I mean, and you team tackling and talk about that a little bit.
There's one play I think that stuck out to me from last night, and they threw a hitch that we missed a tackle on our sideline, and we chased them down, stripped it down, and we had 3 guys, running from the far side of the field that landed on that fumble on our sideline. And if they weren't sprinting to the ball, that thing might have gone out of bounds. And so the effort from those guys, the schemes that we put in place this week and executing our fundamentals from our defensive staff, very, very proud and encouraged by the work of those guys, not just last night, but the last 2 weeks.
When you see things like that, it makes a coach's heart grow, doesn't it? Running, never giving up on a play.
Oh, no question. I mean, your offense feeds off of that too. When you're starting at the, near midfield almost every single possession, I mean, that's huge. And our kickoff team as well. I mean, I think their average starting, field position was around the 20 or 15-yard line. I mean, our kickoff team did an incredible job. So very, very proud of, all 3 phases last night. I thought really, kind of came together, especially in the second half.
when you have an effort like this, like I said, once again, Coach Hartgrove beaming because the 3 phases, that's what you want as a coach, right?
Yeah, well, I think more than anything, we realized we did not, we didn't play very well, especially offensively in the first half. I felt like we dominated, total yardage, and, we just didn't execute inside the 10-yard line. We got out-physicaled. I made bad play calls. We just didn't get the ball in, inside the 10-yard line twice. And so, still being able to put up 27, and really feeling like we missed out on, 10 or 14 points, it was just really encouraging to see how we responded in the second half.
Talk about yardage. Jeremy Smith, I think 98 yards rushing. How about that kid?
Yeah, Jeremy, he's able to impact the game in a lot of ways. I think the biggest thing, from last night is, he made several tackles on kickoff. He's on our punt team as well, and just a tremendously unselfish player. Thought he made several plays last night, that allowed us to extend some drives when we were in some bad down and distance situations. So really proud of his effort so far this season and also from last night.
Of course, we understand Rockville is not a region game, but to me, it's a neighborhood game because all these Rutherford County schools, and I like it that the teams that don't play, you're in Rutherford County and you still play other Rutherford County teams, non-district. And I think that's great. Talk about going to your neighbor's yard and coming out with a win. What kind of building block is that for you guys?
It's our first of 3 straight road games, so that's certainly something that we emphasize this week. We felt like we let a 2-digit lead at halftime at Blackman 2 weeks ago get away from us, which was very disappointing. But how we've responded since, I feel like that first half of the third quarter at Blackman has been very encouraging. Really proud of our leadership, really proud of our staff for making some adjustments. I think we've made some great adjustments on defense since, the third quarter of that Blackman game. And so just proud of our leadership. I think our leadership and players, deserve all the credit. When you're able to go on a road and play against such an incredibly talented Rockville team and execute the way that we did, I'm really proud of our players and their efforts and executing.
The goal of every coach is to get better every week. Coach, are you there? I mean, it sounds like it's headed in the right direction for sure.
Yeah, we definitely have some things we need to work on from last night. I was like I said, I think we've got to work on some of our red zone offensive stuff. We kind of changed some things up in the second half, I thought, which really helped us. But the biggest thing is I thought that we executed and did the things that we were trying to do to limit their playmakers and kind of take away some of their strengths on defense as well. So I'm really proud of our staff and getting that taught this week and putting our players in a position to be successful.
So you mentioned 3 straight road games, one down. The next up is Cane Ridge. Important because region starts this week.
Well said. There's, we've had 4 games, and I'd trade all 4 of them for, success this coming Friday night at Cane Ridge. It's a very difficult place to play. I hadn't played there since 2017 in the playoffs, and their locker room is about a half mile away from the field. Obviously that school and program has had a lot of success the last decade. They're going to have a lot of talent, as always. I've watched a little bit of them this morning already, and it's the region opener. Really nothing else needs to be said. I know our players are going to be really focused, and it's a region opener on the road as well. So, we're going to have to enjoy last night, but get back to work very quickly.
They are a natural grass field. Does that play any factor, you think, at all, Coach?
Normally once a week, for whatever reason, if there's a soccer game or a middle school game, we're on our practice field. And so, we do various other things on our practice field at times. And so, it's going to be the same surface for, both teams. And so, we're excited about the opportunity to open our region schedule on the road, and certainly a very formidable opponent. And Cane Ridge has a lot of success in recent years in our region and has won the region certainly more often than not. So going to be a great challenge for our team this coming Friday.
Coach, anything that you do differently? I mean, sometimes guys don't, and I'm not asking you to show your cards here, but sometimes you don't always do things, or you work on things in the preseason, what we consider the preseason before district. Anything different that you think you got? Any other things up the sleeve that you think may unveil this Friday?
Yeah, we work on things every week, and you're never really sure what you're going to need and how a defense or an offense is going to adjust. You're always going to see something maybe that you didn't prepare for. But yeah, I mean, it's region time. There's no reason to keep anything from being shown at this point. And so really excited for our team and for what they've been able to accomplish up to this point. But like you said, it's the start of a new season this coming Friday night at Cane Ridge.
Coach Ben Caudell doing great things. The creek is rising over there, I'm telling you, man. And he's the guy who's driving the boat. Coach, doing a great job. Appreciate your time. Wish you the best of luck.
Thank you. Go Red Hawks.
The Coaches Show is brought to you by J. Mullins Jewelry, a family-owned and operated business treating clients like family since 1938. Jewelry design, repair, and a wide selection of great jewelry pieces online at mullinsjewelry.com.
Rely on the experienced professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air.
Whether it's the blazing heat of summer or the bitter cold of winter, let the Rheem Pro professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Conditioning on West College Street keep your home or business comfortable year-round. We service all major brands and in most cases offer same-day service. Call us today at 615-890-1311. Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, your Rheem Pro partner heating and cooling contractor on West College Street, just under the Thompson Lane overpass.
Craig's Tax Service.
We perform tax preparation, individual tax returns, corporations, partnerships, and all your payroll bookkeeping needs.
Brandon Craig with Craig's Tax Service.
We fulfill all your tax preparation needs from individual returns to corporations and handle any of those scary letters you may get from the IRS.
Craig's Tax Service at 142 Heritage Park Drive. Call 890-2233 for an appointment.
We're proud to support all Rutherford County athletes.
Craig's Tax Service, 890-2233.
We're at Rick's Barbecue talking with Anne-Marie Brents, who says they're ready to feed your entire crew with the family pack.
It's a pound of pork or any of our pulled meats, and then you get two 16-ounce sides, and then you get a bag of chips, which are plain or barbecue, and then the buns come with it, and then you get one of our drink choices, which is either a 2-liter of one of our sodas or a half-gallon of one of our teas.
And don't forget the famous Rick's Loaded Baked Potato.
That's the biggest potato you can get. They're right at 2 pounds.
Let Rick's Barbecue do the cooking, 212 Warrior Drive.
With the service you get from State Farm, you might think our car insurance costs more. I'm State Farm Agent Ron Reeves. Give me a call at 615-873-1700 and let me show you. With discounts up to 40%, you may find it even costs less.
You've changed thousands of diapers, played hours of peekaboo and duck duck goose. You do anything to protect your kids. I'm State Farm Agent Emerson Williams, and it's important to protect them with life insurance. I can make it easy and affordable for you to protect your family.
Hey, it's Brian. I want to tell you about my bank, First National Bank of Middle Tennessee. In a world that's changing, replacing local with global, personal contact with a screen, and human expertise with AI, I'm happy that First National Bank of Middle Tennessee is here in Murfreesboro with real experts that will show up to get the job done. 2 locations on Gateway and Memorial Boulevards.
First National Bank of Middle Tennessee. We show up for you.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 401715.
The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at wgnssports.com.
The Coaches Show is brought to you by Bowen's Body Shop. From dings and dents to full body work, trust Jeff and Kyle Bowen to do the job right. They're located on Middle Tennessee Boulevard. I'm Danny Brewer. I'm feeling finer than a batch of fresh fried chicken right now because I've got Rockville head football coach Brian Guthrie on the line. Coach Guthrie, how are you this morning?
I'm good, Danny. How are you?
Well, I'm quite well, Coach. We've talked a little bit this morning about Friday the 13th, which was last night. Unfortunately, it sounds like for Rockville it was a Friday the 13th all night long.
Yeah, things didn't go well for us last night, Danny.
Well, and Coach, that's kind of how it rolls in high school football. You've got young athletes, and I guess this is like the thoroughbred racing game. The only predictable thing is unpredictability. Am I right?
You are correct.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the development up front. Earlier right before the season started, we talked about you guys up front. Talk about how you've developed in the trenches thus far, Coach.
Those guys are, doing a pretty good job. We lost our starting guard. He had to move back to Jackson. He moved back this week. He was a senior for us, a good player, good leader for us. And Nick Taylor, his family had a situation. They had to move back to Jackson, so we lost him, and that was not good because he was one of the pillars of our program. So we started a new guard who did a great job last week, and this week he did a pretty good job too. But we're having to play those guys on defense a lot, and I don't know how that's affecting us yet. But they're having to play a lot of snaps that they're not used to, and but for the most part, I felt like we did a decent job blocking last night.
Let's talk a little bit about offensive balance, Coach. I know you got some weapons over there at Rockville. Talk about the strive for offensive balance, being able to run and throw the football.
Well, we're a big RPO team, and so we try to throw the ball. We try to keep it pretty even and be 50-50 as much as we can. And last night it just didn't work out too well for us. We had some missed opportunities. We had some drop balls. We put the ball on the ground. We just didn't play well as a football team last night.
Coach, how do you? Of course, obviously it's a challenge every week, but picking up the pieces and moving forward because you got 6 weeks left to play. At least.
And we do. And we start region play next week. And I put it on. I told our seniors last night. I said, how do you want to be remembered? But if we play the way we did last night, we're not going to do very well in the region. So, we've got guys we do have good, talented players. And, we're going to have to figure out how to get those guys all those guys to play to their potential. And, ultimately that's on me. And, didn't get those guys ready to play last night, apparently. So, it's on me and our coaching staff. And, we're going to work hard this weekend and try to figure that out.
Well, Coach, I know you got broad shoulders, and you're not the head coach of Rockville because you don't know what you're doing. Oftentimes, though, it's very difficult.
It depends on who you ask.
What if I asked your wife? What would she say?
She'd say she doesn't care. She just loves me.
Well, that's good because what at the end of the day, Coach, we know you're doing the right things over there, and it's about growing young men. And the challenges of, rising from those ashes, that's one of those important life lessons that hopefully you're going to teach this week, right?
Sure. You're gonna face adversity in life, and things aren't going to go well. And, you got I've said this, I've told my offensive line this for years, that, when things go bad, you got two choices. Ultimately you got two choices. You can let them keep getting bad, or you can make them better. And when it boils down to it, that's it. And so we got to decide what we're going to do this week. Are we gonna make it better, or are we just going to keep letting it be bad? So, I feel like our kids are great kids. I think they want to win. We've just got to get it all put together.
Coach, let's talk for a minute about the facility. I know that new football field, all that kind of stuff. Talk about the facility and how that's all come together.
Well, we just, we decided we needed more space to practice, and so the turf field was kind of a no-brainer for us, and we had to have it just so we could have that extra place to practice, and because our freshman team really didn't have a place, our soccer team struggled with places to practice, so it was just a joint effort to get that done, and we pulled it out and got it done, and it's a beautiful place. I'm real proud of it.
Well, Coach, I know that you talked about region play. I know this week you host Riverdale, and that's like the Highway 99 rivalry there. Talk a little bit about getting ready for Riverdale this week.
Well, we're going to treat it like any other week, and try to find the things that they do well, and try to stop those, and then try to exploit the things they don't do well.
So, whenever you think about this Friday night, is it more about Rockville being the best Rockville that they can be? I mean, when you get down to the bottom line of it all?
1,000%. 1,000%. We've got to figure out who we are and how we're going to finish the rest of the season. We've got to dig a little deep. We've got to get some. There's a little bit of selfishness on our team right now that we've got to fix, and that's on me for not fixing it by now. We're just trying to get those kids to be the best people and best players they can be, and right now I'm not doing a very good job of it. So that's the point of emphasis this week is get Rockville better and let the chips fall where they may.
Coach, when you think about some of the kids that you have on your team, I mean, there's these highly recruited players. You've got some D1 commits, I think, right? How many D1 commits you got on your team right now?
Commits, 2.
Okay. So
Jalen to Georgia and Stephen Nelson to Middle Tennessee.
Okay, and you've got some other kids who are being sought after. Does that outside noise help, hurt, or is it no factor?
Danny, the outside noise these days, all the outside noise these days is a factor. It's everything so, blown up on social media and with, trainers and 7-on-7 coaches and all this kind of stuff. And it's just, it's hard to keep kids focused on the team and what's important. And, I think our kids do a pretty good job of blocking that out, but sometimes it creeps in and, it's kind of a different deal now than it was, 15 years ago, or especially 30 years ago when I started this business. And, it's just social media has kind of changed the way we live as a society, and in a lot of ways it's not good. But it is what it is, and you've got to adjust and adapt and overcome those things. And, we try to do that every day.
So, Coach, when you think about it, I mean, not only do you have to worry about your offensive scheme and your defensive scheme and your special teams, but you got to worry about the social media scheme too, as well, right?
Yeah, it's not just about football anymore, and, but that's not an excuse. I mean, everybody deals with the same stuff, so we just got to figure out a way to block that out and be the best football players and best people we can be.
So, Coach, when you think about moving forward, and I know that you're going to move forward, when you think about moving forward, what's the biggest thing that you want to see from your team from last night to this coming Friday?
Well, that we just come together as a football team, that we bond together, and this could go one of two ways, and we want to come together and play for each other, and not be selfish, and do what we're coached to do, and hopefully we can put them in the best chances available. I think last night we got outplayed, we got outcoached, we got out everything. So I felt like going into halftime, it was 7-0, and we did not execute at all very well on offense in the first half. I thought defense played really well. And I really felt like coming out, we started to pick it up there toward the end of this first half, and I thought coming out in the second half we'd come out there and start clicking, and it would be a different ball game, and it didn't happen that way.
Well, Coach, but the core building blocks, honor, obedience, respect, hard work, all that stuff, that's what you're going to look to build off of, right?
It is 100%. 100%. Like I said, ultimately this whole thing comes down to me. And I've got to be better as a head coach and try to get our guys where they need to be.
Well, Coach, I'll just say this, the greatest game plan in the world means little without execution.
It does, but I've got to get those. It's on me to get those guys to execute. So that's what we've been preaching, and that's what we're going to continue to preach. Because you can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't execute the offense or you don't execute the defense or whatever, then none of that matters. So we've got to make sure those guys believe that and buy into it, and so we can move forward with this thing.
Well, Coach, I can tell you one thing. I'm a believer in Brian Guthrie. I know you're doing a great job over there at Rockville. Things are going to be great this Friday night because you're hosting Riverdale. It's the Highway 99 rivalry. It's going to be some great high school football. So, folks in that area, if you want to see some great high school football, head on over there to Rockville and check out these Rockets because they're going to blast off. Coach, appreciate your time, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, Danny.
The Coaches Show is brought to you by Sir Pizza, whose 3 Murfreesboro locations offer a huge selection of mouth-watering pizzas, sandwiches, pastas, and wings. Order your favorite pizza online at sirpizzatn.com.
Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance takes great pride in treating local athletes here in Rutherford County. Experts in joint, bones, and muscles. And with over 65 specialists, TOA has a playbook to get you back in the game. To request an appointment, visit TOA.com or call 855-NEED-TOA. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance. TOA. Live your best life.
Quick, convenient, efficient. 3 words that we all hope to experience when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to bring just that to an industry that's traditionally dictated to the customer when it's time to do business. Whether you're purchasing class pictures in a yearbook, class jewelry, a letter jacket, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience quick, convenient, and efficient. Find out more at jhacompany.com. JHA, your one source for an unparalleled scholastic experience.
This is a paid legal ad.
Hi, this is John Day of the Law Offices of John Day. For more than 30 years, my team and I have worked hard to help injured people throughout Middle Tennessee. Over that time, we've helped thousands of people get the legal help they need when they've needed it the most. And if we're not able to help or aren't the right lawyer for you, we'll do the best to point you in the right direction. If you've been injured, call the Law Offices of John Day for a free consultation. And remember, there's no fee unless we win your case.
The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at wgnssports.com.
We're back on the Coaches Show, brought to you by Sir Pizza, whose 3 Murfreesboro locations offer a huge selection of mouth-watering pizzas, sandwiches, pastas, and wings. Order your favorites online at sirpizzatn.com. They've got a brand new app, too, and you can earn rewards points at Sir Pizza. Time to talk some Seagull football this morning. Adam Renshaw joins us here today to talk about dipping the toe for the first time in the region waters, which is always fun and exciting. Coach, last night, tough one on the road at Coffee.
Yes, sir. Very good Coffee County team. Really good up front defensively, and we struggled offensively last night and made some mistakes and come out on the wrong end of that.
You know, Coffee is an interesting team to be in this region. Number one, they're the only one that doesn't live in Murfreesboro, you know. So already a tough region. They went through some coaching change last year, but they've really seemed to put together a pretty solid team.
Oh yeah, they do a good job. I mean, their coaching staff is really sharp, and they got their kids in the right spot. You know, they don't have a lot of kids, but they got them in the right spots, and so I think they're doing a really good job down there.
No, I mean, you can't sleep on anybody in this region, but going down there too, it kind of takes you back. It's really an old school feel.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I'm not sure how old the stadium is, but it's at their old high school. It's off their real high school campus. So I mean, it has a cool old time high school feel to it. Just wish we'd play better there.
Yeah, and I haven't talked to you in a few weeks, but we have done your games, and it just seems like you have had injury after injury after injury, and we're talking about key spots too in your lineup.
Well, yeah. We're the running back position is where we're hurting right now. We felt like going into the season, running back was going to be a strength, with Corey, Jennifer, and Albia and some of the guys we had there. And those kids are hurt right now. We moved a kid there last night, Kevin Inslee. He was injured. So, we're trying to pick it up, trying to pick up our slack there and get caught up. But definitely hurting at that one position.
I mean, just offensively, but when you start losing players and you're filling holes, then there's also another hole that's left, or somebody's playing, offense and defense, playing all the time more than you'd really like. I mean, whenever you're filling a hole and you're filling it with someone else, then someone else has to step up. I mean, there's a lot of chess pieces to move.
Oh yeah, and when you move when you move one of your best receivers to a spot, well, then you got to move a guy there, and so and plus, I mean, the big deal is you lose all those practice reps, right? Mm-hmm. And so whenever a kid moves, you lose a ton of practice reps, which they've been practicing on since, in many cases, since spring football. And you're talking about hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of reps, and all of a sudden you're starting over again.
Trying to get it done in 4 days,
Exactly.
I don't know how soon you put Kevin in that situation, but he hasn't. Not that he's not capable, but hasn't spent a lot of time in the backfield.
Yeah, and he's a great kid, and I think he was looking forward to the challenge. And hopefully we get him back soon and he gets rolling. I mean, he's big to us on defense also. He's a two-way starter. He plays safety, and so hopefully we get him back soon, get him going.
Yeah, and I guess going back to the point I was trying to make, when you do have people playing both on offense and defense, which is pretty regular, but if you're counting on them defensively, but then you have to play them more on offense, then that leaves you dealing with the defensive side.
Well, maybe, I mean, we're still high school football.
Well, sure.
A lot of kids can still play both ways, and I felt like our defense played great last night. We're playing great up front. Jesse Beverly, Braden Graves, JoJo Harris are 3 defensive linemen that play a lot up front. They played great. Our linebacking core, we got a kid, Mason Grisham. His older brothers played for us the past 3 years, and little brothers stepped right in there and played great up to this point. Kobe Ward, Bryson Green, ended up at running back last night playing a lot, and so those kids played really well. We also moved Matthew Rice, our tight end. He was a starting outside linebacker for us, and our dog outside linebacker position is, I guess, the other position that's kind of taking a beating for us this year. And so, but those kids played great last night. And, in the secondary, Andrew Varner, he runs the alley and plays it. I mean, he plays it like a high school football player should. Really good in the secondary, kind of our quarterback on defense, I feel. And our 2 cornerbacks played really well last night also.
You mentioned Rice, and I mean, you look at him, you say, that's a football player.
He's long, he takes up a lot of space, and really, we realized last week, again, that our outside linebacker position, we had to do something there, and Rice stepped into the role, and I thought played really well there especially on 1 week of reps.
Yeah, it's really cool to have kids who are willing to step in and willing to take the challenge. And it sounds like, your team, your guys, they're not hanging their head and woe is me and injuries and that kind of thing. They're using that as an opportunity to step into something they maybe a week ago weren't thinking they were going to do.
Yeah, 100%. Just thinking that's the corner position that we play on defense. Delvion Ewing, William Santel, again, they challenged us on the edge with certain perimeter plays last night, and for the most part, those 2 kids were right there on the spot and played a great game, so, I mean, the real thing is we just got to play better, offensively, so much is about trying to get the engine going, trying to get that thing tuned up and not sputtering, and so we got to go back to practice and clean up the run game, get physical. We got plenty adequate people to put in the spots and get going. We just got to get it going.
Adam Renshaw is here with us this morning as we talk Siegel football here on the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner. You'll have to help me remember this, but I think it was 14-0 at halftime. So I mean, your defense held a pretty good offensive team in Coffee County to just one score in the second half.
Yeah, and in the first half, one of those was a pick six. So and there was a short field on another one of those scores. So the defense played really well, and our special teams are playing really well. We had one bad snap on a punt last night that hurt us, but our punter made a courageous play on that. And generally all year long, our special teams have played really well for us and been a bright spot.
So talk to me about how, last night for most of the other teams in the region, I think you were the only one that played a region game this early. Your non-region next week when everybody else is it just the draw? Is that how that happened with your schedule?
The state makes our schedules now, and with us being an odd number of teams in our district, they don't match up perfectly. We'll and I assume it'll be the same way next schedule will go around. We're currently scheduling right now, you just got to look at the schedule every week and say, all right, there's the district game, and be aware of what's going on after the ball game.
The next challenge that's ahead the next week.
Exactly.
I think what they started doing the scheduling of the region games last cycle. Was that right?
Yes, TSSAA picked it up, and there's issues with making sure we have enough officials to play ball games, so that's why we play. Everybody has to play a Thursday night game. We play two, but I will say this: we're hearing good things about the number of officials.
Well, that's good.
Getting involved in the sport. Of course, the thing about being a good high school football official is you just don't walk out there and do it. It takes some years to get experience. So more people are getting involved, but the experience of these crews, they're having to work hard to get caught up right now. And honestly, this year, our officiating crews, I think, have done a great job. Coaches are always going to have problems with certain calls, but I think the officiating crews honestly, these are men giving it. They don't do it for the money. These are guys that are trying to protect the sport and give kids a venue in which to get better at life. And like I said, we can't thank those guys enough.
A lot of them are former athletes, a way to give back to a sport that did so much for them as kids and things of that nature. That's not to say that the officiating situation is all perfectly fixed, but it is nice to see that whatever the recruiting process that has been going on is showing some fruits of that labor.
Yeah, well, here's the thing I know about officials. They may not be right, but they're never wrong.
Well, you should be a motivational speaker for officials. I'd be excited to have you come out. A lot of people never like to be wrong. So
exactly. Yeah, I might need to be an official.
Well, Coach, you've got a chance to get back in front of the home crowd this next Friday night. You have a pretty good commando team coming in from Hendersonville.
Yeah, 100%. And it's homecoming week at Siegel High School, and it's a big week to our student body, big week to our faculty. We do a great job of celebrating our students, celebrating our school. The challenge will be for us this week. We got to get better offensively, and we got to get some work done. And so remaining focused and getting ready to play this Hendersonville squad, it's a big deal.
And I guess the big thing for you is more about Siegel than about Hendersonville, just getting reps in and getting people settled in positions here. And the more snaps you can get under your belt, the better off you are.
Oh, 100%. And, we're playing a lot of kids in new positions, and I don't mean to use that as an excuse. But we've just got to find our personality, especially offensively, and get that right and get the ball rolling.
Sometimes homecoming week is maybe a coach's worst nightmare. I don't know, but you're pretty calm and cool in all of that, I think, and your kids really know that, that's for the school, and for the kids, but their focus has to be on football.
Yeah, well, it's all around the game, a football game, right? And so all the celebration, and look, we want to be a part of a sport that is celebrated so much. That's part of the thing. It makes football so cool. But on the other hand, the football players have to be about the football game.
Coach, appreciate you spending some time with us this morning, and good luck against Hendersonville on Friday.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Adam Renshaw joining us here on the Coaches Show, brought to you by Craig's Tax Service, specializing in personal and business tax preparation, financials, and bookkeeping services. Find out more at craigstaxservice.com.
Hello, this is Coy Young at Las Casas Feed Supply. We would like to welcome you to our door.
I'm Ian Young. I'm at Las Casas Feed Supply. I'm selling beef and pork, 100% Angus, raised here in Las Casas. Come get you some.
Everyone's favorite cuts available, even options to purchase a quarter of a steer.
We got the beef. Hello, everybody. Las Casas Feed Supply.
Family owned and operated, Las Casas Feed Supply on Barlow Lane, just off Highway 96 East.
The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at wgnssports.com.
We are back here on the Coaches Show, brought to you by Dr. Automotive, the cure for your car, professional auto repair and maintenance from ASE certified mechanics and master mechanics. Check them out online at autorepairsmyrna.com. Time to talk some Eagleville football this morning. Floyd Walker joins us here in studio, and still waiting on that rain, Coach.
Yeah, it's starting to sprinkle a little bit outside, but we were happy that it decided to miss us and not interfere with any of our homecoming festivities. So we were thankful that God spared us yesterday.
We definitely need the rain, but there were some decisions that had to be made, and talked to a few coaches, and some of the decisions were, well, if we're going to get as much rain as we're expecting on Thursday and Friday, I'd rather play in heavy rain and on a harder surface than wait until Friday when it's heavy rain and a soupy surface. So that kind of makes sense. Others that have turf, that's not as much of a concern. So how did you tackle dealing with that this week?
We were just going to play. Because of homecoming.
Right.
We were just going to keep everything on Friday night. We never considered Thursday night. Normally our middle school plays on Thursday night, and we never want to interfere or take anything away from them, even though they moved their game up to Wednesday this week. But we never really let that enter our mind about whether we were going to play on Thursday or move it to a Saturday. So we were glad that we were able to get it in. Again, we were glad we were able to have all the homecoming festivities, and we were glad we were able to come away with a victory.
You know, you and I have been around all of this thing for long enough that
we ain't gonna count the years.
No, I was just talking earlier at the beginning of the show about, when I see Riverdale and Germantown, it takes me back to 1994, and then I thought, well, that's 30 years ago.
At Vanderbilt,
But I never remember hearing this until the last few years about moving games and that kind of thing, and I guess it's probably because of the field and making sure it doesn't get torn up.
I don't know whether it's the field, because back in the day, if you were going to play on Friday night, you played on Friday night.
Right.
There was no such thing as a weather delay or lightning delay. You just played, and it's I think the day of so much information being available to everybody, through your cell phone and through the internet or AI or whatever that may be, and that people are a lot more in tune with what's going on, weather-wise and situation-wise. So I think all that plays into it now.
Everybody's a weatherman.
Oh yeah, hey, I think you got so much information now, and you wonder how kids are able to operate and function, because there's just so many things are accessible to them.
Oh man, you're not kidding. I do think all spring sports coaches, especially, seem to have a minor in meteorology. But you're an outdoor sports guy as well, soccer and all that, all those sports that are played that are outdoors. I don't know. It just it's a different time.
Well, I think it goes back to safety. Everybody, everything. You want people to be safe. You want your fans to be safe. You want your players to be safe. And if you have to err on the side of caution because of safety, then I'm all for it.
Well, and if you've got 4 or 5 home games, you certainly want your best crowd at all of those games to help pay for everything too.
Right, because like you well know, everything's a lot more expensive now. So
I was talking to somebody about that too, and I mean, just to outfit your team with a new uniform set, I mean, you're talking about thousands upon thousands of dollars.
If you're going to suit a kid up from head to toe, and most schools just let kids purchase their own cleats. So if you're talking about from helmets to jerseys to shoulder pads to girdles to game pants, yes, you're looking at, I mean, a helmet nowadays is roughly around between $400, $450. And
one helmet.
The shoulder pads are somewhere around $3. So you're looking at probably upwards of $1,500 to $2,000.
Wow.
To fit one kid.
That's crazy. That's crazy. And you don't have to replace all that stuff every year, but, you know, it comes around pretty quickly.
It comes around pretty quickly, and, you know, we recondition our helmets every year. So that's an expense in itself. So you may purchase a helmet for $400, but now reconditioning each helmet every year is around roughly, well, I think it was like $80 a helmet this year, so I'm assuming it's going to go up. So I'm going to say when we send them off in November, December, they're going to end up probably being $100 a helmet to recondition. So it's kind of expensive.
Yeah, that makes them last longer, I guess. You know,
but again, it's another safety issue.
Yeah, well, and you know, we've definitely seen that in the spotlight as well. We're talking philosophy way too early in this, Floyd. So last night you had Colin Wood, and pretty tight game throughout, really from start to finish. I believe it was. Did you score first?
Yeah, we scored first.
So it was 6-0, then 7-6, and then 12-7.
And then 12-7. Yeah, it was one of those type of deals. You know, it was one of those kind of back and forth type of deals. Great game if you were a fan. Great game if you were, were players. But it was fun. It was fun to be a part of that one. But it was a deal that kind of went back and forth. And I thought defensively, I thought our guys really did a tremendous job as far as tackling the football. I thought every time they ran the ball, we had somewhere in the neighborhood between 6 to 7 kids or more around the ball, which is always a pleasure to see. We did some things offensively that kind of limited us as far as putting points on the board. We had a couple of penalties, a couple of missed opportunities throwing the ball down the field. But I thought Marshall Spann did a tremendous job on defense. I think he had somewhere in the neighborhood of 16 tackles, a couple of tackles for losses. I thought Caleb Smith, who has played fantastic for us all season long, did a great job of running the football last night for us. But when you talk about win, it was a great team win. So we'll take it. Like we talked about last night, we're never going to give a win back to anybody, and we're going to enjoy it for this weekend.
You know, what type of game do you enjoy? Do you enjoy, lots of offense, lots of points, or do you like these defensive, just in the trenches battles?
I like those.
You like to win.
I like those games where every phase of your team plays well, offense, defense, and kicking. All right,
I understand.
I've always, when you're in 1A school, I told them, I said, look, fellas, I ain't ever gonna get to be happy because the positions that I coach is one of those glaring deals. When you coach quarterbacks and defensive backs, everybody knows when those people make mistakes, and they're never going to play a clean ball game. So we had some things to break down secondary-wise. We had some things break down quarterback-wise. But overall, as a team, we were able to move on to the next play and get the stops defensively that we needed and put the points on the board when we needed to do that offensively. So we're going to be happy with the win. I'll go back and I'll watch this today, and I'll get this out of my system, and I'll move on tomorrow.
Well, that gets that building block into that, because you've got a big game on the road at Huntland to think about next week. But early on in the season, especially, and I know we're midway through the regular season, starting next week with week 5, which is hard to believe. But when you can count on a strong defense, that allows your offense just to kind of find a footing, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It does. You kind of base everything on how you're playing defensively. If you're playing defensively really, really well, then the thing you want to do offensively, you want to make sure that you take care of the football, that you don't turn it over. You want to make sure that you try to put drives together that not only eat up the clock, but also help you change field position, because The further our team has to travel to score points, the more difficult and challenging it is. And you don't want to put your defense in a situation that's not beneficial to them. So that's kind of what you go into it doing. If you're playing well defensively, then you just try to make sure that you do things that help, that helps your defense out. If your defense is in a shootout type of format, then you got to go score some points. So that's kind of been our approach, and it's kind of been kind of worked well for us.
Floyd Walker joining us as we talk Eagleville football today. Snitzer, 21 carries, about 164 yards or so, and a touchdown last night. Really starting to come into his own, isn't he?
He is. I mean, I tell you what, that kid he's put in the work. His attitude has been fantastic, and just the effort in which he's playing with is it's truly enjoyable to watch how far he's come in 4 years. So we're excited for him. We're happy for him and the success that he's having, as well as we are for all the other kids on this football team.
It's going to be a really interesting year in the region, isn't it? After, last week with the closing with Moore County, last night closing with Collinwood, it's going to be.
And Moore County got beat last night by Wayne County. Yep. So it's one of those type of deals to where now that's kind of open it up for anybody region-wise, So you're going to have to play well every Friday night that you have a region game. And now everybody in the region is playing for something. So it's going to be fun. It ought to be exciting for our kids, and it ought to be exciting for our fans.
And protecting the home field in region games is really critical if in postseason.
It's going to be vital. We've got, what do we got? I think we got one more home game in the region. I think we got Wayne County that's got to come to us. The rest of them are going to be on the road. We got to go to Huntland next week, and it's going to be their homecoming. Then we still have to go to Richland and Cornersville to finish up our region play. So we've got some work to do. We've got some challenges ahead. But again, like I told those kids, the thing that we're most thankful for about them is the way that they go about their daily business. They go about their daily business, enjoying one another, practicing with one another, hanging out in the locker room with one another. And when it's time to go to work, they roll up their sleeves and they battle for one another. So if we can continue to do those things, I think we'll be okay.
Well, let's talk about the next one, and that's Huntland, going to Huntland, a place that you can't get to easily.
No, you can't do that very easily, but it's a familiar trip for us. We've been there enough over these kids' careers that they'll know the trip. They'll know they'll know how we're going to travel. They'll know what the locker room is like. They'll know, how we warm up there, and they'll know all those things about it. But it's one of those deals to where we just got to go and take care of Eagle. It's going to be their homecoming. I don't know what their homecoming festivities are like. I'm assuming that it's probably nothing like ours. But we'll go in there. They'll be jacked up, feeling confident about themselves. They didn't play this weekend, so they won last weekend, so they still be feeling good. And we'll just have to go in there and just do what we're supposed to do.
Well, Huntland, they're so accommodating. They even spot you points and things like that when you right. Yeah, they deduct points. What do you do?
Oh,
yeah, for sure. And you mentioned homecoming, and I should have gotten to that at the beginning, but you made it through another homecoming week.
We did, and weather was fantastic, and I thought all of our administrators, everybody who helped with the homecoming festivities, Leslie Trail, I thought our students did a tremendous job. I thought it was a really, really good week, considering all the different challenges that everybody worked through trying to predict what the weather was going to do. But it ended up being a great day for all of the students, especially the elementary kids. So anytime you can put smiles on elementary kids' faces, I think that's a success.
Those future footballers in the years to come, right?
There's a lot of junior pro jerseys yesterday. That's a good sight. So.
And good. It's a unique place to be. There's no other place like it here in Rutherford County for sure. And Eagleville knows how to throw a party.
Yeah, we can do a homecoming with the best of them, huh?
Coach, good luck at Huntland next week, and wish you all the best. 2-1 after next week in the region would be very nice.
It would be. We appreciate you, Brian. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. That is Coach Floyd Walker joining us on the Coaches Show, brought to you by Dan France Concrete, a licensed and insured residential and commercial concrete construction contractor serving Middle Tennessee. That's Dan France Concrete.
Life changes, then it changes again. Hi, I'm Edward Jones Financial Advisor Lee Colvin. A job loss, change in health, or loss of a loved one can have a big impact on your family's financial security. Let's work together to help make sure that you're equipped for life's unexpected events. Stop by our office in the Public Shopping Center on South Rutherford Boulevard or give us a call at 615-907-7056 for an appointment. Edward Jones, Making Sense of Investing, member SIPC.
It's time to talk MTCS Sports. It's Cougar Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro.
Presented by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance. TOA, live your best life. Online at TOA.com.
We're joined by Middle Tennessee Christian School coaches to talk about their most recent games and their upcoming opponents. It's time to talk orange and white on MTCS Cougar Corner.
Welcome in, everyone, to MTCS Cougar Corner, where we talk about the orange and white. And this morning of Christian Peterson with us, as usual, to talk about the Cougars football game last night and nice little road trip for you.
Yeah, drove out to Clarksville. You know, got on the charter and rode out a couple hours.
That kind of how did you go through? And last night, a good outcome, by the way, 27-7 victory. We're going to talk a lot about that. But game day logistics, that can't be something that you handle all on your own, is it?
No, we got Ed Watson. I joke with him all the time that he's our DFO. You know, people always ask, like, you know, as the season gets going, like, hey, what time are you leaving? And I'm like, well, we are going to leave whenever Ed Watson tells us we need to leave in order to get to where we need to get to on time. He's been doing it a long time. You know, we've been to pretty much everywhere we play, we've been to before, so he kind of knows, you know, when we're going to hit traffic, where we're going to hit traffic, what's the best route to go, what the timetable looks like. And so he does a really good job of breaking it down and making sure that we get there when we're supposed to get there.
You know, and that's probably the most positive thing that's ever been said on the Coaches Show about Ed Watson. So,
yeah, no, he does a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
He does a lot. You know, Ed Watson is he's a huge piece of our program. Like, he does so much stuff that people don't know. You know, whether it's mowing the grass and in the fields and, you know, organizing our road trips. You know, he does a lot of things that make my job easier.
Well, it's not like you're trotting out there with a staff of 20 coaches, you know. So, I mean,
right.
there's plenty of work for everybody, but those are some of the things that you just take for granted are already done. And those are the guys you really have to have.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's really good at seeing a need and filling a need. And, you know, again, we're very blessed to have him. He's been around MTCS a long time. You know, he knows the history of it. He knows, you know, you can talk about a team 10 years ago and he knows the players on those teams and he remembers the game that happened then. And so it's fun to kind of hear that history and learn that history. You know, when I was coaching, I had to coach at my high school before I came here. And so, you know, I was one of the guys that kind of knew the history, like I known all the way back to, you know, 2004. I could tell you what happened. And so, you know, we came here to just kind of pick his brain and learn about the history of MTCS. It's been really cool.
It's not every Friday night you get to load up on a charter bus and do all that kind of thing too. So, I mean, that's a neat experience for the guys.
Yeah, no, they definitely prefer riding on the charter.
I bet.
makes the travel a little bit easier, a little bit nicer. But you know, when we go on these the longer road trips, we'll stop at Cracker Barrel and get some food and then head up to our games. So the kids get real excited about all that. And so, you know, again, I thought they handled it the right way. We got a lot of guys that was their first long road trip, and you know, I think when they showed up, they were ready to go and ready to play a football game. So it's always a positive sign.
Is Cracker Barrel one of the, I guess the choices? I don't guess you give them choices, but I mean, is that an easier place to get into and out of with a group?
Yeah, for sure. So we'll call them earlier in the week, let them know how many people are coming. We'll have the orders already put in.
Oh, wow.
We just call them 30 minutes beforehand, and we show up, and the kids' food's ready, and they just bring it out, let them eat, and so we're able to get in and out pretty quick. So it's been really good for us.
Very efficient in that. You just mentioned something about the first big trip for a lot of these guys. I mean, you're dealing with a lot of young'uns, so you know that that's part of the whole football experience, though, to be able to go on the road, climb in a charter bus, and do some things for the first time. Sometimes you can be wide-eyed in that, too, but your guys showed up to play football.
Absolutely. Yeah, you never know how they're going to react, when you get on the bus, especially on those long road trips. A lot of them fall asleep. When I was a player, most of us fell asleep. And so, being able to wake up and kind of get your body moving again, you're always waiting to see kind of how each team does it, from year to year. Even if you have a senior heavy team, sometimes it takes that group a little bit longer to get going. I thought really, first play, we were a little slow, and then after that, we were up to speed. I thought we got going pretty quick, and I'm proud of how they were able to lock in and get ready to play a football game.
Christian Peterson with us here on MTCS Cougar Corner. You go to Clarksville Academy, and that area certainly had much more rain from this tropical system than we had here, which we were expected to get, but you had to deal with Mother Nature last night too.
Yeah. So luckily it didn't rain a ton on us during the game. We had a few times where it came down, but it poured right around probably about 4:30. And so the field positions were pretty wet. So, no matter what you did, the footballs were going to be wet. It was going to be slippery. You kind of look at it early in the game. We're driving on our first offensive drive. Ball pops out of our hands. Then they throw a pick, and as we're running back, ball pops out of the guy's hands. And so you could see that everybody was just trying to figure out, how do we hold on to the football right now? It was wet. And, it was a little bit of adversity. And, again, I think we talked about it with the guys, like we were able to fight through it. We're able to don't let things we can control mess us up, right? Like, look, we know the ball's wet. Put two hands on it. Go get what you can. We don't necessarily need to be fighting for the extra yard right now. Go get what you can. Get down. Let's get back in the huddle. Let's go run another play.
So you're talking about the ball being wet. Just you place the ball on wet ground, it's obviously going to be wet, and it takes a long time, or hours before that. And if it was a heavier rain, then you're going to have to deal with that all night, which I'm assuming you did.
Yeah, for sure. But both teams had to deal with it. And right. I definitely think early it was a bigger factor for both teams. I thought kind of as the game got on, both teams were able to make the adjustments, and you kind of started seeing better ball control from both sides. I thought the snaps were good all night. Again, it's tough on the center, right? No one really notices the center unless the snaps are bad.
Right.
And so, it's things that people don't really think of. As an offensive lineman myself, like I know how hard it is to snap a football once it starts getting real wet. And you might have to change how you're holding it, how you're snapping it, and make sure you got a good grip on it. And again, I don't think that we allowed that to affect us. We just made the adjustments we needed to make, and kept rolling.
Well, your offensive stats are just fascinating to look at. When you see net passing yards 0, that says a lot. But you were able to successfully run the ball, and in the conditions that you had last night, someone may look at that and think, well, but honestly, if you see that some team has 350 yards rushing and none passing, you figure that there's some weather-related thing, right?
Yeah. And I told him on Monday, because we probably over 30 pass plays the week before. We had thrown for over 200 yards and had been successful in the air last Friday. And so we were talking about it on Monday. I was like, guys, look, I don't care if we throw the ball 75 times. I don't care if we run the ball 75 times. Like, how we win the game, I don't care. I just want to win. And so, where the stats fall or whatever, right? Like, let's just do whatever we got to do to win that game that night, and then we'll get back, watch the film, and see what we need to do the next week to try and win that one.
So, when you don't pass the ball that much, the other team obviously knows what you're going to do, and you just said last night, stop us if you can, apparently.
Yeah, we went into halftime, and we had been some of our spread stuff early, still trying to get the run game going, but doing another spread, and we kind of went into halftime and go, look, guys, we're going to get in our base. We're going to put 11 guys in a phone booth, and we're going to run right at them. And let's see if they want to play that game for the rest of the second half. And our kids were excited about it. They were excited for the challenge. They were excited to get to go on there and just go play physical and kind of get back to just our base stuff. And I thought they executed well. And, I thought we moved the ball well. And, it was a successful night.
I can't remember exactly how the scoring went, but, I mean, it was within a touchdown for a long time in that ball game. So, I mean, it wasn't – and you won 27-7, but it wasn't like, it was some big, huge blowout. I mean, you had to earn everything you got last night.
Absolutely. And again, when you're dealing with those things and things aren't really going, as smoothly as you'd like them to go, being able to understand that, like, look, it's just about the next play. Go play the next play. Go play the next drive. And, what happened has happened. Let's look at it on the film and see where the mistake happened, and let's go fix it and let's go get a next drive. And, I thought our defense played fantastic. They got put in a couple tough situations and, they answered the bell every time. They were really physical. They flew around. Offensively, I thought we moved the ball really well throughout the game. We had, we dealt with some penalties last night, and, really it's one of those deals where whether or not you agree with the call, it doesn't matter. That's what got called, right? So don't allow the refs to frustrate you. Don't allow the refs to get you out of your game, right? Like, that's what they called. It is what it is. I'll talk to them. You guys just run your play, and let's just go keep playing. And I thought, I thought they responded well to that, and I thought they just were able to get back in the huddle, regroup, and go play another snap.
Time of possession was within 10 seconds. I mean, so you were obviously much more efficient on offense than they were, and that's a testament to the defense, your defense.
Yeah, no, I thought they played fantastic. They're starting to see it a little bit better. They're starting to react a little bit faster. We talk about it all the time, like our trigger's got to be good, and you got to just trust your eyes. And so I thought earlier in the year they would see it, you'd see them see it, and then they'd still take one more step before they trigger. And now they're starting to see it and go. And so, I mean, those are the difference of, the 6-7 yard gains and the 2 yard gains, is that 1 second of just going. And so I think as our guys keep playing, they're able to play better and better, and create situations that allow us to be aggressive on defense and let them just go play football. And I think they've answered the bell.
Well, Eric Bowling was certainly a beast defensively last night. 10 tackles, 2 sacks, and he kind of led your defense. Owen White, 8 solo tackles, and you can talk about anyone else, but those are a couple of stats that kind of stood up off the page, and you had a couple interceptions last night.
Yeah, Eric is flying around. So glad he came out, baseball kid. Again, he's one that every time we play a game, every practice we have, he just gets a little bit better. He's really physical. He's really athletic. And, he's one that the game is starting to slow down for him. He's starting to see it. He's starting to understand, what the offense is trying to do to our defense. And, he just keeps getting better each week. Owen White, can't say enough about him. Senior, he's been through the fire with us. Really good leader. He's last night was his last game playing in the cast. And so he gets an interception with this huge cast on his hand. He does anything you ask of him, plays really hard, make sure everybody's lined up. James Hancock gets an interception, just a good play on the ball. He always seems to be in the right spot. And so, when you always seem to be in the right spots, because you're doing the right things. And so he's there to capitalize if the other team makes a mistake. And, he's done it back-to-back weeks now, and he's playing really well for us. Thought D-line's playing much, much better. They're starting to understand their gaps, their responsibilities, how physical they need to play. I think they're playing much, much better against the run. Again, that helps our linebackers out, right? Because they're able to command double teams. It lets our linebackers run around and make plays. And so really just kind of all the pieces fitting together is huge for us. Secondary-wise, thought we covered really well. I think they only completed really like 4 balls against us. And so, when you're able to do that, you're covering well in the back end, between Briggs Boyd and Jaden Sanders and Shy Murphy and James Hancock, and even Trey Ewell got out there for a little bit, little freshman we got. And, at no point am I worried about, big mental mistakes or anything like that. Like, they're going to be where they're supposed to be. And, again, they're just playing better and better each week.
They were 4 of 13 for 58 yards, but had 2 interceptions. So, that is a pretty interesting stat when you break it down that way. They did try to put the ball in the air, but only 4 successful, and 2 of those were interceptions that gave your offense the ball back. That's about all you can ask for.
Absolutely. And again, it's just kids understanding where they're supposed to be and doing what they're supposed to do. And, again, really proud of them, really proud of the growth that they've had from week 1 to now. And, we talked about after the game, like, guys, that's not the best game we're going to play all year. Like, there's still more. Like, we can still be better. It's not perfect right now, but there's a lot of things that are positives. There's a lot of things that we're doing better, right? They're seeing the growth. They're seeing the progression. And so I think when they're able to see, that the positives coming out of it, it makes it that much easier to show up and keep putting the work in.
If your team was the same team as it was when you played Columbia Academy, it's not 27-7, is it? I mean, it may be close, or it may not even be in the win column. I mean, you just never know about that. But the growth from the last time you and I had the chance to talk to now is really remarkable.
Absolutely. And again, it's testament to the kids, right? A lot of times coaches get, when you win, they get the praise, and, when you lose, they get the negatives, and you hear about it. But in reality, the coaching staff, I think, has done a really good job of understanding where we are right now and where we want to get to. And I think our kids are extremely bought in. And I think our kids have proven that they can just keep working and they can keep getting better. Like I said it early, and I'll say it again, like, there's not a group that I would trade them for. Right? This is a really good group. They're fun to coach. They show up, each week ready to learn and ready to get better. And, watching them grow is really probably one of the best parts about coaching, right? Like, you watch the light bulbs start to go off in kids and seeing them understand it, like that's a really fun thing about coaching. And again, so proud of them. This wins for them. Like, they've done everything we've asked of them. They played their tails off, and just so excited for them.
Christian Peterson with us on MTCS Cougar Corner this morning. 350 yards rushing, 228 of those from Briggs Boyd, and you just kept feeding the beast last night, didn't you?
Yeah. I mean, again, kind of with the conditions, you snap it to the guy that you're most confident with can catch a snap when it's not perfect. A guy that you trust to understand, to hold on to the football. A guy that, he's a senior. He's been through it. He's played in every game you can imagine. He's done it as a receiver. He's done it as a running back. Now he's doing it as a quarterback. He's really grown as a leader, and really excited about him. And again, watching his growth. He comes out last week, throws for 200 plus yards. This week he runs for 200 plus. And again, I think that's just a testament to willing to do whatever it takes to win the game.
You couple his yardage with Shy Murphy's 81 and Lamario Nichols' 41. Those are the guys that got the bulk of the carries, and, Briggs can't carry it every single time, and you have to have some others step up, and some good positive yards with not as many carries, but between the two, you kind of had a three-headed monster back there.
For sure. Really, really proud of Shy. thought he took a huge step in the run game. You know, he's another one, caught over 100 yards passing last week. Now he's running for 80. He's starting to see it. He's starting to understand where he needs to hit it. And so, you know, he is lightning in a bottle. If he can go, he's real fast. And so for him, it's, again, just reps, understanding, feeling the hole, seeing where it's going to be, and, you know, being able to attack the defense in multiple ways. And then, you know, Marlowe's one of our young bucks. We got to get him in there late and get him some carries, and he's a guy that's got a really high future. You know, his ceiling is unreal. Like he's a different kind of player, you know, but he's a freshman and he's learning, and you know, so anytime we can get him in and get him a few carries and just, you know, get him game reps is going to really help his development.
Coach, you're spending the month of September on the road, and last night was the second of 4 games on the road. And when you look at your schedule with Webb and Friendship coming up and then South Pittsburgh at home, I mean, who made the schedule, by the way? Was that you? You've got a really tough schedule, and you may think, well, Webb, but Webb's not the Webb that you may think you've seen before.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is we just got to focus on Webb, right? We start worrying about 3 games from now, you know, then that's when you end up having a bad week of practice and a bad Friday, right? Like right now, the only game that matters is trying to figure out how we can go and play a Webb team that's playing at a really high level right now. You know, they have a bunch of new guys on their team. They're dynamic, they're fast. You know, they're going to present some challenges. But, you know, as we talk about all the time, like I care way more about us than I do about who we're going to play. And so the goal for us is to go in and get better this week and understand what our game plan is going to be and try and execute our game plan to a high level.
When you have someone who makes it easy logistically, you know, and is comfortable for the kids, we've talked about it earlier, I guess, I mean, going on the road can be just as fun as playing at home. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think every group's a little different. Some of them really like going on the road. They like playing in the hostile environment. Some of them like playing at home.
Sure.
You know, they like having the home crowd behind them. I think this group is they just want to play. They just want to play, and they just want to try and win. And so, you know, whether that's at our place or their place or wherever, you know, I haven't seen a huge difference from how they prepare and how they get ready to go play a game. And so, you know, I think that bodes really well for us as we continue down this season. Again, they want to do what it takes to win. And so, you know, sometimes it's going to be running the ball. Sometimes it's going to be throwing the ball. Sometimes, you know, the D-line's going to have a big night. Sometimes it's going to be the DBs, you know, and, you know, I think they're buying into the fact that it doesn't matter what any individual is doing. It's all about the team, and it's all about trying to figure out how to get a win. And
those things, you may practice one way, but the game itself dictates you've got to change and do it this way. And weather is part of that. The other team is part of that. They may show you a different look that you weren't expecting. Football is a game of adjustments.
For sure. You know, we never really know how the other team's going to line up to us. You know, there's nobody else that they play that runs what we run. And so, you know, if we were 2x2, 3x1, you know, like a lot of other teams in our classification, then you could turn on the film and line up against 2x2 and 3x1 and have an idea. For us, like, you know, we're on our base stuff. Like, nobody else runs that. So you've got to kind of look at, all right, what do they have? What is their base scheme? What do we think they'll do? And then we'll give them 3 different looks throughout the week of these are all possible looks. And then once we get into the game, now it's like, all right, this is what they're trying to do, or these are the 2 looks that they're trying to do. Here's what we like against them. And then we just kind of attack from there.
They have the same problem with you as well. You present something that they don't see very often. So, I mean, it works out that way.
Well, for sure. Yeah, I definitely think there's an advantage for us as well. You know, there's, you know, their kids are having to do things that they don't normally do. So, you know, there's definitely pros and cons. But, yeah, I think our kids are buying in. I think they're playing hard. And, you know, like I said, I couldn't be more proud of them, you know, and thought they played really, really hard. And they played with really good energy. And, you do that, you're going to give yourself a chance.
The Cougars are 2-2 after last night's 27-7 victory on the road at Webb School. It's just it's in the neighboring county. Very nice little leisurely trip. So hope all the Cougar fans will get out to watch MTCS play at Webb on Friday. Coach, appreciate you coming in this morning.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Kristen Peterson joining us here on MTCS Cougar Corner. We'll be back to wrap things up, give you a look at the scores from this past week in other sports and the schedule ahead. Stay with us.
Middle Tennessee Christian School, training for eternity.
People love to see us on the schedule when they have a home game because our fans show up.
MTCS President Matt Tiller.
The way we travel is just phenomenal. Our parents and our community are fully engaged in our school. When we compete, we're trying to do it in a way that honors God. We want to win. We also want to do it in a way that pleases Him.
Providing Christian values and academic excellence in a nurturing environment. That's Middle Tennessee Christian School. Invest in the future of your child. Find out more at mtcscougars.org. Dr. Russell McKissick of Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance talks about the grassroots effort in our local schools to ensure proper care for players.
To make sure our teams are covered here locally, be there for our trainers. Yeah, it's a passion that we have to try to take care of our athletes here in town and be there just to keep everybody playing as healthy and as best they can.
From a community standpoint, one of the most important things you do at TOA, I'd guess.
I think it's definitely a way to pay back to our community, just to be there for them and watch some great sports too.
Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance, TOA, live your best life.
Middle Tennessee Christian School, training for eternity.
We're going to be an educational institution that teach Bible every day. Every subject we teach, we're going to teach through a biblical perspective. In every aspect of our school, we're going to do it through a Christian perspective.
MTCS President Matt Tiller.
That also means that everything we do, we have to be excellent. We feel like Christ calls us to excellence. And so that means we have to be excellent academically. That means we have to be excellent athletically because that's what God calls us to. It's a great place to be.
Invest in your child's future in an environment that fosters Christ-centered values. To find out more, visit mtcscougars.org.
It's MTCS Cougar Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro.
Presented by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance. TOA, live your best life. Online at TOA.com.
On FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at wgnssports.com.
Welcome back into MTCS Cougar Corner, presented by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance. Let's take a look at some of the other fall sports from this past week. And we take a look at Monday, where we had some middle school tennis. The boys tennis team defeating Blackman 5-0, but Blackman defeating MTCS girls 5-0. It was MTCS JV middle school volleyball with a 2-0 win over Good Pasture. Same score, middle school varsity over Good Pasture 2-0. Varsity volleyball, a win over FRA 3-0. So good start there to volleyball. On Tuesday, PCA edged MTCS golf 157-150. To tennis on Tuesday, middle school girls and boys both victorious. It was the boys winning 5-0 over Stewart's Creek Middle School, closer, but a 3-2 win for the girls' middle school tennis team. Volleyball, JV middle school volleyball, a win over Webb 2-0. And it was also the middle school team winning over Webb 2-0 as well. University School of Nashville defeated MTCS soccer 9-0. And to volleyball, varsity volleyball 3-0 over PCA. Also 3-0 over Columbia Academy this week, that being Tuesday, then Thursday. Middle school football, a 38-6 victor over Clarksville Academy. And it was the football team last night defeating Clarksville Academy again, 27-7. So what is coming up this weekend? Of course, the volleyball teams playing in the border battle. A lot of teams involved in that. That includes JV and varsity. Also starting on Monday, JV middle school volleyball in the first-round quarterfinals, along with middle school, so getting to that time of the postseason. JV volleyball will be at Webb. That'll be coming up on the 16th on Monday as well. Also Monday, cross-country in the TSIA meet, and volleyball will be at Webb on Monday as well. Golf on Tuesday will take on PCA. And it's the tennis team, middle school
girls and boys tennis hosting Siegel, and that will be Tuesday as well, 4 o'clock for that. JV volleyball versus BGA on Tuesday. The 5th and 6th grade football team will travel to DCA, that coming up on Tuesday. Also, girls soccer will host St. Andrews Swanee Tuesday as well. Another Tuesday event, volleyball, varsity volleyball hosting BGA. Now let's go to next Thursday, middle school volleyball in the semis and championships there. The varsity team will be at Grace Christian next Thursday. And tennis will be hosting DeKalb on Thursday at 4 o'clock, middle school girls and boys. Then also on Thursday, cross-country, middle school cross-country at the Henry Horton race and girls soccer at BGA. JV volleyball will be at Grace Christian. And the 5th and 6th grade football team on Thursday hosting PCA. And middle school football will be at Davidson Academy. And on Friday, middle school girls and boys tennis taking on PCA. Football, of course, at Webb. And that takes us through, of course, a big cheer competition, the Charger Challenge Showcase next weekend for Middle Tennessee Christian School. That is a look at everything that has been going on this past week and what's to come here this week in fall sports. Hope you've enjoyed MTCS Cougar Corner this morning as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. Always love talking to Coach Peterson. He is an A1, great interview, and is all about getting his kids recognition. We appreciate that. Also, want to thank all the other coaches who joined us for the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner this morning, and to my co-host, John Dinkins and Danny Brewer today. Our producer has been Dalton Barrett. I'm Brian Barrett. Hope you will tune in this afternoon, Middle Tennessee football, as they host Western Kentucky, 4:30 airtime, 6 o'clock kickoff. You'll hear it right here on News Radio WGNS. Have a great Saturday, great weekend, everybody, and we will see you back here next Saturday morning for another Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner and MTCS Cougar Corner.
If you need a tax pro, like, or even a real estate agent, you can go to RamseySolutions.com and check out our trusted pros there to be able to help you through some of it. If you need that additional help, make sure to check them out. But yeah, that's
doesn't get much better than that.
That's a story everyone wants, I think.
Gosh.
So in 10 years, it appreciated like crazy.
Yeah, that's really great. I'm happy for them. That camper is my